It is 6 a.m. Good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone studios, and happy Friday. I'm Justin Hawkins. A lot of NFL news yesterday, but the headline, the Pittsburgh Steelers and seven-time Pro Bowler TJ Watt finally agreed on a contract to make the star pass rusher the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. The contract is for 3 years, $123 million, and $108 million guaranteed. The deal has an average value of $41 million per year and edges out Cleveland Browns edge Myles Garrett at $40 million a year. Los Angeles Chargers wide receiver Mike Williams has decided to retire from the NFL at age 30. Williams signed a one-year, $6 million contract back in March and returns back to the Chargers, where he was drafted 7th overall in the 2017 draft. But Williams had 2 seasons of 1,000 receiving yards. Also, the dominoes continue to fall for this year's second-round draft picks as 8 more rookies signed their rookie deals yesterday, including Seattle Seahawks safety Nick Emanwari, who signed a 4-year, fully guaranteed $11.6 million contract. It becomes the first ever fully guaranteed contract for the 35th overall pick. And in the NBA, free agent guard Damian Lillard is returning back to the Portland Trail Blazers on a 3-year, $42 million contract. Lillard spent the first 11 seasons of his career in Portland, but Lillard tore his left Achilles in the first round of the NBA playoffs this past season and could miss the entirety of the upcoming season. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Friday morning, welcome to Ramon Will, and good morning. Hope you're having a good start to your day in Music City and around the world. Ramon Will is fueled by Scooters Coffee. Visit a locally owned location near you in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Coming up this morning, major change in the NFL Players Association. It may have happened while you were asleep last night. We'll tell you about it to lead off the show coming up here in 15 minutes. Brent Hubbs talks Vols with us, and hour number 2. We'll talk to him at 7:20 about the latest from Tennessee SEC Media Days tour in Atlanta. See what he thinks about what the Vols said, what to expect from L'Jarius Sneed. One of the biggest questions around the Tennessee Titans heading to training camp next week. We'll dive into it based on what one NFL personnel exec told ESPN.com. We'll do that at 8:20. Plus Ron Slay, Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer, this weekend on Friday, July the 18th. He'll join us in hour number 4. Ramon Foster, what's going on? Good morning.
Man, good morning, man. I hadn't even seen my dog. This will be the first time I've seen him since he's left, and he's got a big day and all that type of stuff tomorrow. Whoop-de-woo, you know what I'm saying? Well,
this is how you guys are. You'll hype each other up forever, and then the second everyone else starts hyping you up, you just talk them back down a little bit. You started this so on brand.
Why you calling me out on what we like to do?
Because you called him out.
I did call him out.
Hall of Fame weekend. Hall of Fame.
All these people coming into town for Ronald Slay. Nobody care about all that. But I hadn't seen my guy, man. By the way, it's a few folks I talk to every single day, man. I talk to my wife as soon as I get out of there. I call her. I'm like, hey, what's going on, boo thing? You know what I'm saying? A little small routine stuff. Well, you'll pick up on that, man. I'm sure you probably got something to do with too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I call Savage too, just to check in because we talk about work maybe or just some foolishness from the night before and all that type of stuff. But this week they've been super busy. SEC Media Day. They got back yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, too. So
nice.
We got a lot to catch up on is what I'm saying. But he also got a busy day. Got up early this morning. My oldest and my wife are headed to Florida for baseball for a week. And then when she'll come back before him, and he's got to go to another event somewhere else in Florida, man. Busy. He gonna be gone for, I think, like 2 weeks. Like, seriously this time. Maybe like 17 days.
Wow.
Too. Yeah. Mama Bear ain't feeling it, though. Hey, Mama Bear is not feeling it. I can see how that, boys, I commend your mom and your dad, okay, by the way. But I can see how you can have two and be like, yeah, we're done. And then next thing you know, you have another child or something like that, and you like, the house gets crazy.
Yeah.
It gets weird,
It's very
man.
quiet, really quickly.
Yeah, so you were probably a godsend, man. No, you were. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
to you folks, man. So, but we've experienced a little bit of that because I told you last time when RJ had to fly by himself. Mama she was hurting.
First time,
she was in the fields.
That's a big milestone.
It was, man.
I remember doing that going into my senior year of high school for the first time.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I think, yeah, or junior year, going into my junior year of high school.
Yeah, no, it's different. And I told you, first time I ever flew, heck, was with the Vols.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to even think of nowadays.
Ripley,
but
Tennessee to the big city.
I'm telling you. By the way, I ended up reaching out yesterday, too.
Okay.
About potentially doing something in Ripley. I ain't even told Keisha yet.
Really?
So a lot of Tennessee schools.
Foster Field, it might be a reality.
Listen.
Or Foster Stadium.
Listen. Listen. You
Be cool.
Just
Be
now
cool.
I'm getting
All right,
nervous.
all right,
I'm starting to
fair
get sweats and my palms getting sweaty, okay, because it might be a big fee attached to that. And I'm
You've
just
entered negotiations. You've entered talks. Nice.
I know somebody that know people close to it, and I was like, if you could figure out, because leaving a legacy behind is always
Yeah,
hard.
absolutely.
And for my brother and myself, that would be a real cool thing.
If I could make something the bowling field, I would do it. I mean, I'd call it the bowling alley. That'd be my only rule.
Oh.
Like, could you name this field the alley? Like, where you're looking live at the bowling alley.
Listen, I 100%
People would probably pay me to not put my name on something, to be honest with you. Unlike you were an athlete and you played 11 years of league. It's like, hey, Will, we will pay you just to go away. Okay. Sounds good.
But
Thanks.
again, I'm looking into it. Cool stuff, man. How was your evening yesterday?
Well, I do have some unfortunate news for you this morning. I'm on IR.
For what?
For the first time since I was actually an athlete, which I use the term very loosely, I hurt myself yesterday.
I saw you ease into the chair
I
over
feel
there.
like the Penguin from the show The Penguin, with the way I'm dragging my right leg behind me. Reverse lunges, front loaded reverse lunges yesterday were unkind to me on my last rep. Pushed the weight a little bit. Maybe it's because I didn't get as much sleep the night before or something like that, or I was wearing running shoes to work out because it's the only shoes I had in my car.
You didn't have any yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't. I was. You and I talked during the show, and I was like, it's like, man, I'm so tired. I always do this. Hour one, I'm like, God, I don't know if I can go to the gym today. And then by hour two, I'm like, all right, no, I told you my motto: go with your plan, not with your mood.
Yes,
so it's like my plan is to go work out today, so I'm going to do that. And front loaded, you do like you're doing a front squat, but you're just doing reverse lunges, so it's a single leg. And went back, right foot planted, and felt something back of my leg. I guess I thought it was a cramp.
Yeah,
because I get a lot of cramps late in a workout.
Sure,
like groin, like thigh, like that is where I get. Everyone has like one spot where they get the most cramps. That even if I'm doing upper body stuff, that is where I get cramps. Like, oh, maybe it's okay. Let me do another rep. Nope. Got about halfway done. No, not working. So. I strained something in my right leg.
Goodness.
So it's not terrible. I'm probably just a wimp, to be honest with you, which surprises no one. But I will. I'm just going to do a lot of upper body and resting. Which, heck, if you've looked at me, you know I need as many upper body workouts as I can get. So we'll focus on that to open training camp.
Man,
I'm not going to open the season on the PUP list, but
okay.
I am questionable. For
you're working on the side, is what you're saying earlier.
I'll be on a side field.
You're working on the side.
I keep thinking of Will Compton doing that impression of Mike Vrabel at the beginning of training camp those years ago, saying, "Hey, soft tish guys, let's get that crap figured out." I am officially a soft tish guy.
Yeah.
Soft tissue injury, which just means I've not been working out all off season, which is tough. But I actually have been working out all off season. Yeah. So we're gonna focus on one day at a time, and we're just gonna really just pay attention to meetings. Take a lot of mental reps and work on the side field, be ready to go by the first joint practice.
You know, it sounds like dehydration, which wouldn't happen, Will, if you was checking into the weight room every single day, okay? Like, you know they have them pee in those cups to see what the hydration is and stuff like that.
Fine.
Listen, clearly something's going on, okay, Will? You need to get into this training room and get right because, look, this season is not going to slow down.
I had to sleep on my right side versus my left side. I'm a warrior.
How was your form?
My form?
Yes, how
Form
form
was
That is
fine.
a big proponent into not getting injured.
Form was fine.
See what I'm saying?
Warmed up and everything. Did my full
Warm-up was good.
Four
Maybe
things of
hydration.
warm-ups. Yeah.
Sounds like
was
hydration.
fine.
By the way,
That was the most weight I've done for 5 reps.
okay, so
I was going up to 5 reps, 4 sets of 5 versus 4 sets of 4.
Okay.
But I didn't go down in weight. So I really tried to. I did 20% more volume on the entire workout
Yeah.
of that exercise.
So basically, what I'm hearing is you run up, you're gonna get
Pushed
done
it.
up if you try and will.
I pushed it a little bit too.
No, what I'm you in the weight room is what you're saying. Like
Trying to be.
don't let the smooth face fool you is what you're telling folks because you've been training for a while
If
now.
people, I know I don't look like the most fit person, but if you'd seen me when I was coming out of college,
Yeah.
you would understand some of the transformation that I've made, thankfully.
I saw a picture of you. You were frail, my boy.
Oh, no, I looked malnourished. You could count all 12 of my ribs per side. But that's okay. I was running 70 miles a week. Like there were reasons for this, but I was a big gust of wind knocked me over. I was running around in the shower to get wet. Like it was not a pretty situation there for a while.
What you just say?
I was running around in the shower to get wet. You ever heard that before?
No.
That's like the opposite of a your mama's so fat joke. It's like your mama's so skinny, she has to run around in the shower to get wet. You never heard that before?
No, I've never heard.
See, I guess I get all the skinny jokes growing up because I, again,
all
was a
the big
twig,
jokes.
a literal twig. I remember, shout out to Buffalo Bills tight end Dawson Knox.
Yeah.
He one time in class in high school put both of his hands around my bicep and goes, "How do you fit all your major organs in your body?" He's like, I can fit everything. I can fit my hand around your arm. It's like, Dawson, relax. Listen to the teacher. We're in class. I'm trying to pay attention.
Athlete.
Gosh.
Yeah.
I remember that. Literally one time I was asked, like, how do you fit all your major organs in your body?
That's cold
Like,
right there.
I don't know, but they helped me run 70 miles this past week and
couldn't imagine.
win 5 state championships. So that's how.
I couldn't imagine. Yeah. You know what you should have said
Yeah.
to him? Exactly.
Exactly.
Your mama liked it. Okay.
Anyway.
I kid.
Anyway.
The kids, we say stuff like that.
Those
though,
state
but you know
championship medals are in a drawer somewhere because I was a twig
what?
in
No
high school.
doubt. No doubt, man.
I joke though. Dawson was as nice of a person, good of a friend as you could ask for. It was just funny that's actually how you know someone is a good friend. The fact that they'll put their entire arm around your or the hand around your bicep and say, "This is crazy. How can I fit my whole hand around your arm?" I was like, "I'm sorry. I don't
Mind your
know."
business, partner.
Our coach told us very quickly into our first practices in high school, said, if you're trying to get here to be in the weight room here to have biceps for the girls, then you've come to the wrong sport.
No, he didn't.
It's like, well, I don't have them anyway, so perfect. Maybe I came to the right sport.
So real quick, what kind of lift concentrations did y'all do? Like what specifically?
Injury prevention stuff. Like you do a lot of you're not lifting for adding mass or
That slows
adding
down.
muscle. You're lifting to like stretch muscles, that way they are strong.
Yeah.
Essentially, am I getting that right, Justin?
Yeah, that's pretty much what we did in soccer and when I played in college. Is we didn't do a whole lot of upper body. The upper body was just more weight
Pointless.
management.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
you wanted to stay strong on the upper body, but the lower body is where you made your money.
Yeah, right.
Because
Like,
you
we
wanted
would
to be
do-
strong lower. For soccer, you need to be able to fight off your defender, right?
right.
You need to be able to
we
be
don't.
sturdy on your lower body, so
that
that
was-
way you can hold off your defender. You can stay on the ball.
I was excited to throw some elbows though, going into a crowded turn in cross country. Oh, you should have seen my bony elbows. Bow, get away from me. All the time.
Which is an unspoken thing. Like that's what you do.
Oh, I mean, it's spoken sometimes if you elbow somebody hard enough. I had one guy get so mad at me. It was a JV race in sophomore year or freshman year. He thought I cut him off. So he then ran in front of me and stopped.
Did he
slowed
really?
down. I was like, oh,
Buddy.
you messed with the wrong guy.
Yeah,
This ain't traffic.
I left him in
You got
the
bony
mile two.
bowling.
Yeah, he did.
Only bowling out
for
here,
real.
man. Golly.
But no, it was more like deadlift. We would do lunges where you would lift up your other leg and then like drop it. I don't know how to describe it.
I know what you mean.
Like when you, instead of stepping forward,
Yup.
you would like lift for 3
That's a
seconds.
RDL.
So you're helping. Well, I'm talking about lunges,
Yeah.
like walking lunges where you're like, you lift your right leg for 3 seconds, then you like, that goes down, then you like lunge on your left leg, then that one comes up. And so it's
stability
it's
and
the
body
stability
control.
of your lower
Yeah.
ankle muscles. That way, if you like hit a rock while you're running,
Which is why
your ankle doesn't give out. Like you've got lower ankle muscles.
the way you're describing this is exactly why I tell people. Look, running in competition is stupid to me. I wasn't born with speed, so don't invite me to those things, okay? I wasn't.
I'm not invited anymore either, don't worry.
Don't invite me to those things. Like, it's not stupid per se, but like those people are God-gifted like talents that they're given. Like Usain Bolt, he didn't have to think about being fast. He was just fast. Me?
I mean, he still had to think about it.
It's in his last name.
I mean, he had to think, but like, that's
you know what?
Unique. That's unique. Okay?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That's unique.
615-737-1045 is our number. A little bit of a newsy NFL Thursday, and a really big story broke late last night in the NFL. We'll talk about that next. Friday morning at 104.5 The Zone, Ramon and Will is fueled by Scooters Coffee. They're locally owned Scooters Coffee. They're all around you in Middle Tennessee. In Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. Big news last night in the NFL, Ramon Foster, and when things break around 10 p.m. Eastern time, it is usually bad news for one of the involved parties.
Yeah.
Or a bad look has led to a personnel change. Well, that is the case last night for Executive Director of the NFL Players Association, Lloyd Howell, who has resigned, stepping down as the Executive Director of the PA. It has been one thing after another over the last, let's say, month or so. For Lloyd Howell, the NFLPA director, who releases a statement saying, 2 years ago, I accepted the role of executive director because I believe deeply in the mission of this union and the power of collective action to drive positive change for the players for America's most popular sport. Our members deserve a union that will fight relentlessly for their health, safety, financial futures, and long-term well-being. My priority has been to lead that fight by serving this union with focus and dedication. A lot of PR jargon, things like that. There's more to the statement, but I want to get your thoughts first. There's a lot to unpack here. There's a lot to sort through, and I understand with all the different hats that you wear. However, you want to go into this.
Yeah.
Works for me, Ramon, and your perspective valuable regardless of how much of it you want to give out at this point. What was your initial reaction seeing this last night or this morning?
We texted a little bit about 6:30, if I'm not mistaken, yesterday. You was asking me, okay, do we want to go through this? I was like, no, this is probably, I said to you, this is
meaning
probably
the injury, the new thing that came out from Pablo Torre and Mike Florio yesterday.
Yeah, and I was just like, no. And then I go to bed. I was super tired last night, man, for whatever reason. Got great sleep, though, is what I say this morning. But moving forward now, I woke up to this, like, numerous texts, like, did you see it? I'm like, what are you talking about? And it's Lloyd Howell resigning from the executive director of NFLPA. For the people that are unfamiliar with this role, it is probably one of the more important positions in all of sports because it deals directly with the players and the biggest business in the United States.
I think it's fair to say the NFLPA executive director is the second most important person in football.
Yes,
behind Roger Goodell, the commissioner.
Don't get paid the way Roger Goodell does.
Right.
But as far as importance and involvement, yes, Will. And here's what I would say to keep it local as to why this is super important and how big of a move this is of him resigning. This would be as if Chad Brinker. No, this would be if Bert Nihill right now resigned as president of the Tennessee Titans, essentially. Somebody who's in control of operating day-to-day involvement with the ownership of the Tennessee Titans.
With hands in football and business.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
Sure.
That's how big this is. So getting into his resignation, it's been trouble. It's been checkered. His involvement with, as reported by Pablo Torre and at PFT.
Florio. Yeah.
Yes, and Florio also. This is beyond huge, Will, because all the stuff that we talked about probably about a month ago when people was like, nobody cares about what the players and. But this is essentially as if in your relationship, and I hate to use relationships in these situations, but let's say you or your spouse, the opposite of you is negotiating against you, is the way this is set up and framed. Hey, I'm up for a promotion. And then your wife or you as a husband call your spouse's boss and be like, hey, you probably want to drug test them. What? Like, it's those types of things that the way it was framed from Pablo Torre was set up by Lloyd Howell and essentially right now, J.C. Tretter. It seems to me two people have been involved in running the NFLPA the way they wanted to, and the way it almost seems is very invested in it. And it may be a whole lot of deals that may have to get prosecuted by somebody moving forward. That's what that's what Florio said in his podcast.
So it's going to be very challenging to sum up all of the conflicts of interest and check marks, maybe red X's more so than check marks, the different reasons why we got to this point in a 20-minute conversation this morning. But we're going to do our best to give you the roadmap of how we got here and what is next.
And just to frame it real quick, too,
Sure.
for the union, for the people that don't understand the union, like the reason this is such an upsetting thing and why players and people are really, flaming the fires a little bit more right now is because we're watching right now in real time players pretty much fold their deals in the second round picks that are signing.
Yeah.
More times than not, the players lose in a lot of different ways.
Right.
And essentially, it's made up the way it's being reported that Lloyd Howell and J.C. Tretter are setting guys up to lose in the long term of what the NFL and NFLPA's business is.
The best way to the simplest kind of sticking point to point out here on why these things are important and why NFLPA leadership is important is the CBA is up in 2030, and an 18th game is coming sooner rather than later in the NFL. The NFLPA are the people who get things for the players in exchange for an 18th game for the owners.
Yeah.
So, all of this started when Mike Florio and Pablo Torre on his podcast, Pablo Torre found out that Roger Goodell and the NFL Management Council had a meeting at the 2022 owners meetings to gently encourage NFL owners not to give players fully guaranteed contracts. NFL owners do not want players to have fully guaranteed contracts. The NFLPA filed a grievance against the NFL for doing that, saying that is collusion. You cannot have your people motivating owners to not give fully guaranteed contracts. And there were a couple of quarterbacks that were key within that who were wanting fully guaranteed contracts after Deshaun Watson received one. Essentially what happened was J.C. Tretter, who was the former NFLPA president and interim who helped hire Lloyd Howell then, for quid pro quo, gives J.C. Tretter a created position. That way he can stay on because he had been released by the Browns, which meant that he was no longer going to be able to serve because of his team not employing him within the same context anymore. He was a free agent. A little bit more difficult to touch you as a player in the free agent market when you are heavily involved in the Players Association. So there were text messages disparaging Russell Wilson that gave owners ammo to go to the arbiter to say, well, their own people don't even think Russell Wilson deserves a fully guaranteed contract. So this isn't collusion. Basically, then another story comes out yesterday. Again, we're giving Cliff Notes. This is difficult to really sum up into a short amount of time, but I'm doing my best. J.C. Tretter goes on Ross Tucker's podcast years ago, 3 years ago.
2022.
2 years ago, thank you. And says, essentially, I'm really paraphrasing here, so bear with me. Basically gives wink, wink. Maybe if you're a running back and you've got an injury, you should use that leverage to get what you want in contract negotiations.
Yes.
Never encouraged word for word faking injuries, but it is exactly what Ramon has said happens all across the NFL.
I can say that.
Yes, you can say that.
Yeah, I can say that.
Ramon has said that before of like, you said it about Jeffrey Simmons this time around.
I'm like, if Jeff wants to leverage, look,
Like, hey, coach, I got migraines.
I got a migraine.
Can't practice today.
I can't.
Oh, coach, my
My
hangnail.
rib, coach, is hurting. Like
hamstrings feel a little tight. I don't know if I can go today. That's the way players hold in without going on the record as holding in. J.C. Tretter essentially said that on Ross Tucker's podcast.
The president.
So then the NFL filed a grievance against him. And the PA, the NFL won. The NFL won that grievance. It never came out until yesterday. But part of this all is that essentially what Pablo Torre, what Mike Florio, what I think anyone who's really paying attention to this is noting is you don't talk about the grievance that we filed against you, and you don't talk about the grievance that you filed against us.
Yeah.
And that's essentially what's happened. So between that and then you add the fact that Lloyd Howell, the executive director of the NFLPA, also works as a consultant for the Carlyle Group, a private equity firm that was recently approved to seek out minority ownership of NFL franchises. You've got about 3 or 4 or even like 5 different things in the last month that have come out about Lloyd Howell that shows, I don't know if this is the guy that the NFLPA wants negotiating a collective bargaining agreement in 2030, hence how we got here That's my time.
And
That was a lot, and I just laid out for the people. And thank you for bearing with me.
And for the people on this, this job paid Lloyd Howell $3.4 million a year on top of the perks and everything else that comes and play with it too. And to Will's point about JC saying what he's supposed to, to be quite honest with you, JC could probably call somebody, fly to somebody, and say, "Hey, you want this new contract? You should probably find a way not to be available to you and hold in and blame it on the injury." To be quite honest with you, that stuff probably happens often, to be quite honest with you, okay? "Coach, I can't get right." Well, guess what? You'll pay me. It's just like this earlier this spring. TJ Watt, he didn't do a whole lot of stuff in Pittsburgh. You know what happened? Get closer to the season, your most important type of player, you're going to get broke off like he did yesterday. And the biggest issue is, there's so much in a lot of the ways against the players on trying to negotiate. It's a very physical sport, so the guarantees that you actually have are hard to get in general, and that's just business. I get that. The owners have to protect themselves. That's a good negotiation, Will, is what I've always heard, is if at the end of the day you feel dirty about it, and I do too.
Both sides don't feel good in a good negotiation.
That's how you know you've crushed it. So with that being said, I'm looking at a guy like J.C. Tretter in this one who, I think with Lloyd Howell, that domino falling, JC's next up. And if I was him, he needs to get ahead of this, because the other issue is for him, in them finding this ruling that he was found guilty and telling guys to basically screw over your ownership. The way Pablo Torre said in the podcast was there should have been a release to say, "Hey, players, I was wrong. I got caught. You guys shouldn't do these types of things because it doesn't work in good faith for us as players, and also with ownerships that we also have a collective bargaining agreement with." None of that came out. So because of it, he's compromised. And also the idea that he brought in Lloyd Howell, who's also in the bed with these these firms that are able to buy private equity into the NFL. They said in that moment, it was at the Super Bowl this year, Lloyd Howell was speaking about him being on the executive board of the Carlyle Group. And said a reporter from the NFLPA walked up to him and said, "Don't you understand that you just compromised yourself in saying that you are doing business with the NFL while also saying that you're protecting the NFL players? There's no real way to do business that way." Zach Lyons, our teammate in our chat, just basically gave a great analogy of basically what was happening. He said, to use my Nihil comparison, it's as if Bert Nihil is telling Amy Adams Strunk to do all these business moves, but is also working for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Right, that's a good way to put it.
That's the perfect way to sum that up. And it's bothersome because it's so hard to get money sometimes.
Right.
And the other part of it is it's 100,000-aires and millionaires that we're talking about essentially. But it's also as if there's a fair trade to be given for the amount of money that's coming in. And the issue is, it's not just the idea of the money being paid out, it's the health and safety of guys too, because that has been one of, I feel like, the going points, one of the main points of Lloyd Howell too, the 18th game.
Sure. And I think that's the part of it where we can bring this all together, Ramon. If you are out there listening to us this morning and everything we've said has just gone over your head and you're like, what on earth are they talking about? All the legal jargon, all the different logistic stuff. This is where it matters to you, the football fan. A work stoppage becomes more likely in situations like this.
Yes. Now moving forward.
That is where this becomes relevant to you, the Titans fan, that if you don't care about the NFLPA intricacies and getting in the weeds on it, that's fine. But this just makes a work stoppage for the next CBA negotiation in 2030, and it makes not having football become a little bit more likely. I'm not going to predict it at this point. I mean, we're 5 years out. We're far away from the next collective bargaining agreement being negotiated. But this is posturing by the PA now to say, oh, we don't trust this guy to get that done in the best way for us. And I think probably Lloyd, knowing that about 5 different scandals came out in the last month and that he was kind of untouchable within all of this.
Yeah.
The NFLPA will have to, be way more transparent within their process of hiring whoever's next. Because that was the other part of Pablo Torre finds out in the podcast episode with Mike Florio with the original collusion case. There was no transparency or reporting on who was interviewed for when Lloyd Howell was hired. One day, J.C. Tretter just came out and said, Lloyd Howell's our new executive director. And there were a lot of people that were kind of in a closed door process within that. So that then insinuates, Ramon, that when all of these things come out after the fact, the question to JC and the question to the PA when they hired Lloyd is, well, did you really actually do your homework? That's why transparency in hiring practices and knowing who candidates are for things like this, that's why those things matter, is that you get vetted within the real-time process, not then 3 years later when we all look back and say, like, hey, I don't think y'all actually did your homework on this guy.
So to the homework part of it, so when it was, I was part of the last one and going into the 2020 negotiating, and I think D. Smith was up to at that time. Well, with that being said, Will, the way we vetted these guys publicly in front of everybody, in front of the reps, I was a rep 1 of 32 for the team, and we had alternates, and then there's the executive board also. All of the candidates that came up, you had guys that had vested interest in certain dudes, but Will, the detail and how they investigated these guys was so deep that it made you nervous about who they were going to hire. And the fact that JC and whoever else decided not to go through that process, well, the last time we went through this, and I was a part of it, we looked at guys' credit score. We looked at their education status,
I'm sure,
their GPA. We looked at
it's private investigator level stuff to vet.
I'm talking about like there was conversation about relationships that they had with like women that came up. Like it is so detailed because we said earlier, the position is so important.
Yeah, right.
That you have to have a guy that's squeaky clean, essentially.
Yeah, you do.
I knew something was up when they brought up when they started bringing up other candidates that were going to be available for this one, man. And Tony Dungy was a name that was dropped recently. Like I was like, oh, so they're actually talking about somebody else. There's a clip that I'll play at some other point, but it's fascinating that nobody. Remember I said it last time. Nobody's talking about this case. Well, I think it's Chris Long finally said something about it on the podcast with Pablo Torre, too, and it was very interesting on what he had to say.
Right.
And it's where we were getting to, too. It's like this is where the NFL players could potentially get lifetime medical with the smoking gun that they had, basically. And JC, allegedly, and Lloyd Howell hid it or agreed to hide it. That, like, it's so much that was lost because of this smoking gun that they had and the fact that JC, as the sitting president of the NFLPA player side, essentially said, cheat the owners.
Yeah. Albert Breer put it out to make it simple, saying the NFLPA collusion story, a story some ignored on account of no one cares, has led to the resignation of Union Chief Lloyd Howell. This whole thing has made a lot of people look terrible. Larry on YouTube says, JC is an NFL player. The Lloyd guy works for the NFLPA. Their inclusion together against who/what? I'm confused. So the collusion case was owners against the players. And because of JC insulting Russell Wilson in things that were fair game in discovery in an arbitration case, it gave the owners ammo to say, well, we're not colluding against players to not give them fully guaranteed money because, look, this guy works for the NFLPA and he doesn't even like Russell Wilson. He doesn't even think that he should get fully guaranteed money. So gasp, this is not us trying to keep guaranteed money from being paid out, fully guaranteed contracts, because there are texts from owners to GMs saying, I hope that we are setting a precedent for future deals and all of these things.
And add also, if you want to, too, for Larry, like JC also got caught on a Ross Tucker podcast, giving too much information and basically got found guilty. And JC essentially decided, he and the NFL decided, we're both going to not talk about our cases and we can just move forward. It's sealed documents now.
So when we come back, we'll play the audio. Pablo Torre and longtime NFL defensive lineman Chris Long talking about this and the ramifications of Lloyd Howell's resignation. What is next after all this? What we'll talk about next, coming up here on Ramon Will. Hey, it's Will Bowling. If you're headed to the beach or pool this summer, you may benefit from water-resistant hearing aids. Or if you're outside at social gatherings where you'll be in larger crowds and You want to participate in the conversation. Hear the person in front of you, not the one behind you. Well, you might benefit from hearing aids that significantly reduce background noise and enable you to hear and understand conversation. The doctors at Brentwood Hearing Center can take care of you. You offer the latest hearing device technology when you go to Brentwood Hearing Center. And yes, that includes a water-resistant hearing aid that will also help you hear in those situations, weddings, cocktail parties, social gatherings, where you find it difficult to engage in conversation because of background noise. Give them a call today, 615-377-0420, or visit them online at BrentwoodHearingCenter.com to learn more about how they can tailor a hearing solution to meet your individual hearing care needs. Once again, the number 615-377-0420 or the website BrentwoodHearingCenter.com. That's Brentwood Hearing Center. Better hearing, better life. Hey, it's Will Bowling. If you are thinking about getting into the trades or you're ready to take your skills further, Lee Company has the opportunities you're looking for. Lee Company is hiring skilled tradespeople in HVAC, plumbing, electrical, sheet metal, and more. With 80-plus years in the business, competitive pay, and free training, Lee Company's award-winning team is ready to help you grow in your career. This is something you got to pay attention to. If you're out there looking for that next job, and the folks at Lee Company, they're going to take care of you. They got over 80 years of experience, and when you do things for 80 years here in Middle Tennessee, you learn how to do business the right way. 14 community locations for Lee Company in Tennessee, Kentucky, and Alabama. They've got over 1,700 employees. They're involved in the communities. You can check them out, leecompany.com/careers. That's leecompany.com/careers. You can always call Lee Company at 615-567-1000. Online at leecompany.com/careers. That's Lee Company, all you need. Ramon Will, the 104.5 The Zone, wrapping up hour number one, diving into the weeds on the latest in the NFL Players Association. If you missed it, late last night, Executive Director Lloyd Howell stepped down. Ramon, there's a CEO that probably just became available yesterday based on a Coldplay concert.
So I know.
Does he want to run the NFLPA? Or maybe his HR director? Are they a package deal?
He could be at this point. Imagine having to go to HR. Oh, he did go to HR. He did.
Sounds like he's been going a lot to HR.
Sounds like Josh Dobbs need to be in on that conversation now, don't he? Some astronomer.
I cannot go anywhere on social media without seeing that CEO and the dang HR rep
everywhere.
If you missed it, a CEO is under fire because he was at a Coldplay concert and he was exposed on the jumbotron for having an affair with a high-ranking HR executive.
Just got hired,
and the second they got on the jumbotron, he hid. If you haven't seen that video at this point, you are better than me on your screen time because you've not been on social media as much as I have.
Crazy, man.
Anyway, so Pablo Torre in his podcast, Pablo Torre finds out essentially the catalyst for Lloyd Howell having to step down as the executive director of the NFLPA. I do not think Pablo will be on Lloyd's Christmas card list this upcoming winter. This was Pablo Torre with longtime NFL defensive lineman Chris Long talking about these issues.
If you were a player right now, Chris Long, and you realized that your union president had done that, what would you think? What would you do? What would you say?
If I found out that a major bargaining chip in us getting what we want is being buried to protect one person, I'd say, get this guy the out of here. And I got plenty of money. I made my money. But for me, the thing that makes me upset is, and I understand why owners don't want to give guaranteed money. We're like rally cars, bro. We're all going to break. And, the product, you don't want to pay guaranteed money for a product that that is going to break and be sitting on the sideline. I get all that from a business standpoint, but this is what we want. And we're not going to get it, it seems like, ever, because now you got a smoking gun that says, hey, they did collude. And the arbiter's gaslighting us. The NFLPA is kind of looking the other way. And for something strangely personal.
The personal part of this he's referring to is J.C. Treader's texts to DeMaurice Smith, the former executive director of the union, about Russell Wilson, blaming Russell Wilson, calling him a wuss for not fighting for the full guarantees in his contract that, of course, simultaneously revealed in this 61-page document, Mike, the Broncos owners that you referenced before, Mr. Penner, was also clearly plotting to not give him for reasons that are entirely in this larger top-down fashion. And so that's also bubbling, is that players, former and current, are beginning to take notice of, wait a minute, who is in charge here today?
So that's Pablo Torre and Chris Long talking on Pablo Torre Finds Out.
So that last part from Pablo was just talking about players, current and former. Most notably, probably the former players are in a position to where you find yourself at a point to maybe you lose benefits because of money could be lost. Trust can be lost in these situations. Mm-hmm. And just the idea of one thing, and I talked to you, Will, about this. I never, ever, and the people I associate with ever want to be considered the dumb athlete. This sets us back. This makes us look incompetent at times. This make us look as if we don't know how to walk into front offices to do business with the NFL. All those guys that laid out those pathways for us, man, as far as Gene Upshaw and, D. Smith, I got to give him a lot of credit because one thing, he was a bulldog about this process. Like, I love what the NFL provides and how you go about, what it provides for us. Like, Chris Long said it, like, plenty money is given out.
Sure.
You ain't got to worry about that if you do the right thing. What you don't ever want to do is be in a position where you're giving it back or you're taking away from the reputation of the guys that you represent. And that's essentially what this is doing. Like I said, it just makes us look incompetent as a group of football players that want to walk in the big rooms and say, hey, I deserve a seat. This makes everybody say, no, you don't. Look at it. This is a clown show at this point. And then not on top of that, it looks as if you're screwing over the players that you're supposed to be representing. And as Pablo said there, I use his words, it seems as if it's just two people, for the most part, that's trying to position themselves to where if JC wants to be the executive director making $3.2 million a year, or Lord Howell essentially being a part of this consulting firm that's buying into NFL teams to make himself richer and richer. It sucks is what it is at this point. It does.
It is bad timing as well as, I mean, there's never good timing for something like this to happen, but considering how close the owners are to their ultimate goal of an 18-game season with 2 preseason games and, again, the 20 weeks being divvied up in different ways, it is certainly an issue.
And mind you, this JC thing wasn't known.
JC Treader.
JC Treader hidden sealed case wasn't known until 2 days ago. When the collusion case came up, it really does show, like, allegedly, the NFL said, oh, okay, we'll hide your situation, JC. And Pablo Torre did more investigating and say, oh, there was another side of this case.
Right.
JC hid
There's so many layers
too.
to it. So many layers to it.
It's so many layers to it.
Subscribe to Pablo Torre finds out. I think journalism like this is important in this space because, I mean, just look at the value. This is the value of journalism. It is.
Yeah.
Like, we are not traditional Big J journalists, but Pablo Torre is the essence. And Mike Florio, although he can be a bit of a stick in the mud sometimes, they have a role to play. And this is the example of why real journalism like this matters, because all of it has led to the NFLPA executive director stepping down.
When they said nothing was wrong.
Yeah.
How?
We'll lighten the mood a little bit coming up next. There is this thing in college football that essentially, if you fit into this one criteria, Ramon Foster, you can win the national title. There's 18 teams that fit in this criteria. I'm here to tell you, Tennessee is one of them for the upcoming college football season that could actually win the national championship. We'll tell you what it is and how Tennessee joined this group of teams coming up next.
Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking. I lost 70 pounds and my friend lost 20 pounds in the first 2 months.
Wow, what are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed for only $49.99.
It is 7:01. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. Happy Friday. I'm Justin Hawkins. A lot of NFL news went down yesterday. The headline, Pittsburgh Steelers and seven-time Pro Bowler TJ Watt agreed on a contract to make the star pass rusher the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. The contract is for 3 years, $123 million and $108 million guaranteed. The deal has an average value of $41 million per year, which beats out Browns pass rusher Myles Garrett at $40 million per year. Los Angeles Chargers wide receiver Mike Williams has decided to retire from the NFL after 8 seasons at age 30. Williams signed a one-year, $6 million contract with the Chargers back in March to return to the Chargers, where he was drafted 7th overall in the 2017 NFL Draft. Williams had 2 seasons of 1,000 receiving yards. Also, the dominoes continue to fall for this year's second-round draft picks as 8 more rookies signed their rookie deals yesterday, including Seattle Seahawks safety Nick Emmanwori, who signed a 4-year, fully guaranteed $11.6 million contract. It became the first ever fully guaranteed contract for the 35th overall selection. And in the NBA, free agent guard Damian Lillard is returning back to the Portland Trail Blazers on a 3-year, $42 million contract. Lillard spent the first 11 seasons of his career in Portland, but Lillard tore his Achilles in the first round of the NBA playoffs this past season and could miss the entirety of this upcoming season. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you've got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Ramon Will at 104.5 The Zone, off and running into hour number 2 on this Friday morning. Hope you're having a great start to your Friday. Hope we can make it a little bit greater for you. We're fueled by Scooters Coffee, locally owned near you in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. In 15 minutes, Brent Hubs of VolQuest stops by. Ron Slay in hour number 4. There's a rule change in college football this year, or a point of emphasis, I should say, because we decide which parts of the rule book we actually want to enforce year in and year out, that Tennessee was used as an example for at SEC Media Days. I'm interested to ask Brent Hubs about why this rule was magically applied to Tennessee last year, yet is now going to be applied to everyone this year. Yet against Georgia last year, it was against Tennessee. Anyway, that's making some rounds on Twitter from something I said about it.
That, man.
We're going to talk more about it with Brent Hubs coming up here in 15 minutes.
Crazy. It's done against us the most.
That's right. That is absolutely right. Tennessee is joining a list of teams, Ramon Foster, for one important metric called the blue chip ratio for 2025. Are you familiar with the blue chip ratio?
I've never heard of that.
Let me learn you real quick then, as we like to say. Bud Elliott of CBS Sports writing about it. These 18 teams, the headline, can actually win the national championship. In order to win the national title, college football teams need to sign more 4- and 5-star recruits than 2- and 3-star players over the previous 4 recruiting classes. This has been the case, Ramon, for every modern national champion. Think about that. Yeah. Every modern national champion in college football has had more 4- and 5-stars, quote-unquote, blue-chip recruits than 2- and 3-star recruits. Teams below 50% have made the playoff but have never won the national championship. Now, transfers are not weighted into this first number I'm going to give you. They will be in the second number that I will give you. I'm nerding out a little bit here, but bear with me.
But I like it.
Last year, for perspective on how good Ohio State was, Ohio State had the highest percentage in the history of the blue chip ratio. 90% of Ohio State's roster, 4- and 5-stars coming out of high school.
That's elite.
10% of Ohio State's roster last season, 2- and 3-stars.
Snappers and kickers.
Yeah. Right. And again, there are some 3-stars that make it and become dudes. Yeah, right. It's not one size fits all.
Yeah.
Which is why nobody has 100%.
Yeah.
Right? Like you always have to supplement your roster with lesser known talents that someone else that want to work with that you can work with. Yep. Development is still important. Michigan, by the way, their blue chip ratio, 54% from 2023. Yep. Which is exactly what Tennessee has this upcoming season. Tennessee enters the 50% or higher range. So there are 18 teams. If you look at the 247 Sports Composite, which blends the major recruiting rankings, and you look at the blue chip ratio, Ramon Foster, these 18 teams fit the criteria of every team that has won the national championship at the modern era. Alabama and Ohio State have the most blue chip laden rosters at 89%. Georgia, 84%. Texas A&M, 82% of A&M's roster, 4- and 5-star players. A team I think we're sleeping on a little bit in the SEC this year. Oregon and Texas at 78% blue chip players.
I would have thought Texas would have been higher.
I would have thought so too.
Yeah.
Their recruiting dominance has been more the last 2 cycles versus the last 4 from Steve Sarkisian.
Gotcha.
LSU and Notre Dame, 73% blue chip players. Oklahoma, 70% blue chip talent.
By that.
Penn State, 68%. They have, again, this is not counting the transfer portal. They have supplemented a lot in the transfer portal to put themselves as the best roster, I think, in the sport moving forward into this season. Miami, Florida, and Auburn.
Come on, dog.
Who didn't even make a bowl game last year. They meet the criteria of what it takes to win a national championship from a pure star rating perspective at 64%. Michigan and USC, 57%. Clemson, 55% blue chip talent. And then Tennessee and Florida State, the 2 new teams in this criteria of over 50% 4- and 5-star talent on their roster at 54%. So,
fascinating.
I think the point is, Ramon, that even if there is a question mark at quarterback, Tennessee's young, Tennessee's unproven, Tennessee might not be close to as good as they were last year. The cupboard is not empty, though, for Josh Heupel. Right. There are some good star rating, raw talent and ability on this Tennessee football team. They just got to go prove it. And that's easier said than done.
Oh, most definitely it is. But like that's also the separator too into like expectation too. Well, I'm looking at the teams that you mentioned. Also, is like the lower percentages of this metric, and that being Michigan, USC, Clemson, Tennessee, Florida State's in that conversation too. Heck, and I would even throw Miami, Florida, and Auburn in there. Like the teams that have been in almost a reset. Hey, coaches have some issues. Like you look at Tennessee, Heupel's going into his 4th or 5th season right now. You look at Michigan, the change of coaching and that they have right now also, and Clemson, the way they've gone about their rebuild. Like those teams, I can understand where they are. They've had, I guess you would say, issues. But you look at the top of the top, and you mentioned those teams: Ohio State, Alabama, Florida. A&M is a little surprising, which may also lend itself to why Jimbo Fisher was also fired too. It's too much talent for you not to get a national championship conversation out of those teams. And then, of course, Oregon and Texas. I would have thought Texas would be way higher than, and we mentioned that a second ago. But when you look at the idea of the teams that do and the teams that don't, good coaching matters. But the Jimmys and Joes are the ones that changes. That's why, in my opinion, the NIL was so important. That's why also you find these ADs asking the fan base, we need more money, specifically on the football side of things, because if you are able to go pay for a blue chipper. One of the guys we'll have to ask Hubs about when he come up in a second is Tennessee lost out to the player in Clarksville to South Carolina.
Kirkwood High School, Kamari Blair commits to South Carolina this week.
Which is fine because somebody came in with a higher NIL, the way it was reported in the war room. Like, these are the battles that you have to play, but also to that same point, the reputation of your schools, I don't think play a huge part unless you are winning at a higher rip than most other teams. And I'm looking at Ohio State, Alabama, and Georgia at this point.
Yep.
It's a buildup. And one more real quick, that's why it's also good to give coaches grace when it comes to them getting their class and their structuring.
If they're recruiting.
This is over 4 years, you say.
Right. Well,
yes.
This is if they're recruiting.
Yes.
You give coaches grace if they're bringing in talent.
Absolutely.
Because that talent ultimately, most of the time, will end up winning you games before it's all said and done. So with transfers factored in, the top 5 teams in blue chip ratio, Ohio State's number 1 again at 82%. Alabama, 78% blue chip talent. Georgia, 77% blue chip talent. Oregon, 73%. Texas, 72%. A team in the high 40s. There's examples of them almost winning it all. Oregon with Marcus Mariota in 2014 was under this threshold in terms of how many 4- and 5-star players were on their roster because they had Marcus Mariota, who won the Heisman Trophy in 2014. So if you have a transcendent quarterback, they can elevate a team of 3 and 4 stars to beat teams of 4 and 5 stars. But those teams typically aren't good enough to go on a run and win 4 games in a row to win a national championship at the 12-team playoff era.
Right.
That's where this becomes more challenging, is that, yeah, you can pop up and beat Texas.
Yeah.
Like Arizona State was a 4th down conversion away from beating Texas last year. Was Arizona State going to win the national championship? No, they weren't. Like TCU in 2022 is the best example of blue chip ratio is low.
Yeah.
But as good as Max Duggan was, and as good as that offense was with Quentin Johnston and Sonny Dykes, and what he was able to do in a short amount of time to raise the level of a roster that on paper wasn't great, but when it's all said and done was
It's a ceiling.
hanging with the big boys, then you meet Georgia at the end of all of that season, and it all comes crashing down at once.
It is, and it's super unique too. Like I said, I think sometimes coaches get a lot of credit for putting guys in the NFL. Like, no, give that coach credit for recruiting his butt off. It's essentially what you're doing at that point. Those guys have that talent, have had that talent all their life. Like, it takes a special coach sometimes, or a good coach, to get the best out of those guys, to put them in the right scheme and not have them playing a style of ball that they're not used to, that really highlights their attributes. That's what you're looking for in these moments, because when it's good versus good, and I never forget being in those conversations with Coach Foreman, specifically in college. He'd say, our guys are better than theirs. And that's the conversation that you have to have when you look at your college football program.
If you are a betting person, your college football national champion, if you're making a future bet, has to be one of these 18 teams. In the modern era of college football, a team with less than 50% 4 and 5 stars on their roster has never won the national title. So if you are putting a future down on someone to win the national title, it needs to be either Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, A&M, Oregon, Texas, LSU, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Penn State, Miami, Florida, Auburn, Michigan, USC, Clemson, Tennessee, or FSU. Higher the list, the better, of the teams that I just listed. Coming up, VolQuest's Brent Hubs. He's at the top of our list every week. He'll join us next, talking Vols.
At Genesis, diamonds is not just in the name. Diamonds are in the DNA. They dream about diamonds. They obsess about diamonds. Diamonds are their life, okay? They go to the ends of the earth to get the best diamonds. They look at probably 100 cutters and pick up just a few of them to bring back to the showroom, all right? They make sure that every diamond has a certain sparkle and brilliance to it. They have every diamond graded by the world's most prestigious gem labs. They look way beyond the 4 C's to guarantee it's not just acceptable. It's extraordinary. The experts at Genesis are passionate about diamonds, and they will show you all the inside tips and tricks on how to maximize your value. You're not going to get this level of quality or expertise at any other store. Certainly not one of those big corporate chains, all right? Genesis is your source for hand-picked GI-certified diamonds at a guaranteed best price. They have ovals, rounds, princess cuts, emeralds, heart-shaped, pear-shaped, cushion cuts from a half a carat to 20 carats. And to properly showcase these exquisite diamonds, Genesis has the designer settings that other stores cannot get. All the big-name bottle designers have picked Genesis as their trusted partner. It's a no-brainer. Genesis is the source here for a ring you can be proud of. Whether you are getting married soon or have been together for decades, Genesis Diamonds, with no compromise. They're located in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Ramon Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee on 104.5 The Zone, rolls on this Friday with the Vol Network analyst, Ramon Foster. Justin Hawkins, our producer. I'm Will Bowling. Join as we are every Friday at 7:20 by our good friend Brent Hubs of VolQuest, On 3, Rivals, all the things from co-pilot during Austin Price's segment Tuesday to pilot of this segment this morning. Brent, what's going on? Good morning.
I'm doing great, doing well. You went co-pilot. I thought you were going to go Coldplay for a minute. I'm like, let's don't talk about that, okay?
I cannot escape that video on my social media feed.
I was not at the show. I just want that to be known. I'm marked safe from being at that show.
Hey, Hubs, that was good right there, man. I got nothing now, Will. You got the interview by yourself at this point, Hubs. Jeez.
I love it. Well, Brent, from SEC Media Days this week, anything that stood out to you from Josh Heupel, from Miles Kitselman, who I thought was just really impressive? I know that's not breaking news anytime he speaks to the media. What was your biggest takeaway from Tennessee Day in Atlanta this week?
I think it was the candor of Miles Kitselman on all fronts, to be honest with you. It's not just the Nico stuff, and obviously he was pretty candid about Nico, and we all knew. All you got to do is go back and watch the video from the press conference post-spring game and see, the anger in Kitselman's face. He wanted to say a lot more that day than what he did. Mm-hmm. But I thought it was the candor of admitting this time a year ago he didn't know if he could play at this level. And he's gone from that to, senior captain and really voice of the offense for this football team. And obviously he had a lot of good things to say about Joey and his kind of acclimation into the program. Didn't anoint him the starter or anything like that, but talked about how he had fit in really well. So I thought Kitselman stole the show, if you will. To me, he was most impressive, as you mentioned, and that's not a surprise. But I just really enjoyed his candor because I thought he was pretty honest and not a derogatory way towards anybody or anything, but I thought he was pretty honest.
Brent, we've talked with you a lot about Joey Aguilar. It was really interesting in Miles saying on 3HL, I think about a week after I met Joey, he'd already earned an invite to my wedding. And just the level of leadership and just the level of caring about everyone in that building that Joey Aguilar has already shown. Are you any more confident today than you were maybe a month ago that Joey is the starter when Tennessee opens the season against Syracuse? Or is this still as up in the air as it was the day, or maybe just the week is a better way to put it, that he got here?
I don't know that anything has changed because you got to go out and prove it.
Right.
I mean, you can be everybody's buddy, but you got to go out and win the job. Where I'm impressed with Joey Aguilar, and this is what Miles Kitselman reinforced, is I just love the way that Aguilar has come into Tennessee and approached everything. No social media post. It's not about me. I'm going to put my head down, go to work, and get to know my teammates. Now, Miles and Joey have a very similar story. Both under-heralded recruits. Joey took 2 years, year and a half off from football after high school to try to figure out what he was going to do next. Then he goes junior college. Then he gets to App State. Here's Miles Kitselman from Kansas, junior college, ends up at Alabama, doesn't play, then gets this late opportunity at Tennessee. It's a pretty similar story in a lot of ways. And I think both of them can relate in a lot of ways to each other that way. But I just like the way Joey's gone about his business. So it does reinforce that he is absolutely got a great shot to win the job. And I've said, I think because of his experience, he'll ultimately win the job. But I think it's only enhanced by the fact that he's just come in and tried to blend in and be the guy. And in this day and age where it's not about being one of the guys, it's about being the guy, I think that this team really is impressed with the way Joey Aguilar has gone about his business.
We're talking about Brent Hubs this morning, VolQuest on 3. It's 247-2 at this point. Rivals. My bad.
Flag on the play.
Flag on the play. Take me back. Either way, let me get to the football stuff, Hubs. Ben Watson was asked on Ron Slatham's show who are some tight ends in the SEC that he's very high up on, and he didn't hesitate. He said Kitselman. He said, I'm not saying that because I'm here with you guys that went to Tennessee. He was like, but if you look at what tight ends are asked to do as far as blocking, being able to catch, understand defenses, understand coverages, and everything else in between, he checks every single box. And then you go on into the conversation of how this offense operated with Fant, too, in 2022. How big of a role will the tight end play for this team moving forward, and how good is it to have a good one that's being recognized right now?
Well, I mean, a couple of things. One, the last 2 seasons, the tight ends at Tennessee have caught 88 passes combined. And gone are the days where everybody goes, are we ever going to throw it to the tight end? Which was like a staple in talk radio for like 15 years. They throw it to the tight end. And they use the tight end in this offense in a variety of ways. And there's a lot of talk, I know, about whether this system gets guys ready at the receiver position or it gets them, at the quarterback position or whatever. I can tell you NFL people love the tight ends in Josh Heupel's offense. And the reason is because they play everywhere, Ramon. They play inline and block and have to heavy block in run situations. They flex out wide and play in passing situations. They have to block in the open field. They'll line them up as an H-back. They're in motion a whole lot. It's a very complex position to play in this offense because they ask you to do a lot of stuff. And I think when you throw in the fact that Miles Kitselman's 260 pounds, he's obviously a mature guy. He showed last year he's more than just a big guard trying to block or just an extra guard trying to block or an extra tackle. He can play some in space. I think the NFL is going to really like Kitselman. Now, I don't think he's going to go high in the draft, but I think the NFL, when they evaluate him, they're going to look at him and go, okay, well, can he catch? Yes. Can he block? Yes. Okay, can he play multiple spots and move around? Yes. I think he's going to check a lot of boxes, and I think this offense helps you check a lot of boxes, which is why Princeton Fant's still with the Dallas Cowboys.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. Man, also at the SEC Media Day, Bryson Eason bragged big time on Josh Joseph. He spoke about, like, when you look at what James Pierce was, he said that Josh has more. Do you view it that way?
Josh has, I don't know about more, because I think James Pierce's first step's pretty elite.
Okay.
I think that's why he's with the Atlanta Falcons right now. I do think Josh is more physical at the point of attack, can play the run better, will play and hold up better against the run. I don't know that Joseph has the raw ability to rush the passer off the edge the way Pierce does. I don't think Josh can play in space and drop in coverage the way James did. So I think they're different players, but I think Josh Joseph is going to have a big year. He's a guy that I'm bullish on because I think he understands this is his year, this is his time. He's got to go, and he's ready to go. And he had a good year last year. He really did. He had a really nice season. He's talked about the need to finish at the quarterback better. And I think that's been the focal point for him this offseason. I think he's body-wise in the best shape he's been. He's as lean in terms of body fat as he's ever been, and I think he's as hungry as he's ever been. So I do think Joshua Joseph's going to have a chance to have a really, really good year for Tennessee. And I'm not going to say you're going to go at the end of the year go, well, man, they didn't miss a beat without James Pierce. They didn't miss Pierce at all. I don't think that's fair, but I do think you'll go, they're all right at that position because of Joshua Joseph, and then I think Caleb Herring will come on, and I think Jordan Ross will come on. But I think Joseph is going to be a really heavy part of what they do in terms of production on the defensive line.
Brent Hubs of VolQuest sit on 3, our guest this morning on Ramon and Will. So, Brent, John McDay, the SEC Director of Officials, gets up at the podium this week and has a video of Tennessee, one of many slow substitutions it had last year, and the one against Georgia where all of a sudden a rule that's not been enforced all season gets enforced, and Jackson Moy's taking his time getting off, and Georgia is allowed, even though they substituted, to go ahead and snap the ball. Tennessee is given a flag, and Georgia ultimately scores on an important drive. And the whole point of this is that, well, now guys have got to run off the field at an athletic pace and not just walk off during defensive substitutions within this. Am I wearing orange-tinted glasses, Brent, or did this just get magically enforced last year that's now a new rule this year? Like, how is this going to affect something that Tennessee has done a lot and gotten away with, and now is apparently being told, no, you actually got to run off the field. You can't just jog and force the play clock down and force the other team to have to take a timeout or delay a game penalty.
Well, it is a magical enforcement. It's a magical new rule.
Perfect.
It happens. It happened in the Music City Bowl against North Carolina. There's lots of things that seem to happen after Tennessee does it. And listen, I mean, you can call it, gamesmanship, playing in the gray area or whatever. And Tennessee took advantage of it and had taken advantage of it all year.
Right.
I don't know that Tennessee was warned in that game, hey, if you do that, we're going to suddenly magically call a flag, and get you for 12 men. I don't think that was the case, but they obviously felt the need to throw a flag at that point. So now they will. And I get the rule. I mean, this whole idea of just sauntering off the field to force the offense to call a timeout is one thing. And the offense can't, make late substitutions and, force a guy to sprint. I mean, it's got to have some balance to it. We'll see how it's enforced. There's a lot of things like the whole defensive illegal procedure or whatever that new rule is going to be called. I want to see that enforced.
Yeah.
Right.
Are we going to call Georgia for a shift on the defensive line if they shift right before the ball snapped? Is that what you're going to do? I mean, now a defensive guy can't, I won't say lunge, but he can't flex, so to speak, and get back like he could in the past. I mean, I tell you what, let's just all go on hut. Let's just go on a single hut, right? We don't do a snap count. And I mean, I'm saying, like, how far are you going to take this? The officials have enough in their world to try to enforce enough rules. I get the walk-off deal. I totally get that rule. I got no problem with that one. Some of this other stuff, it's like we're adding things that are not realistically to be enforceable on a consistent basis. And that's my biggest concern when they start adding these rules like this.
It's just incredible. It's like we're proposing something as a new rule while literally showing evidence of it being a rule last year against Tennessee, like on the screen over John McDade's head. Just kind of odd, the whole optics of that.
No, I mean, listen, here's the thing about SEC Media Day. I mean, when the conference gets up, there's oddities, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got the commissioner talking about, well, college athletics is stressed right now. It's just a little stressed. It's okay. Really? Ask the guys you work for. Right. Ask the 14 guys and the ADs that you work for if they think it's a little stressed or if they think there's some real problems.
Right.
Because the reality is there's some real problems they haven't come close to finding answers to. And now we're going to stand off. We're not going to, change the playoff. And we're at the, we got a duel between the Big Ten and the SEC. Are we going to 9? Are you not going to 9? And we're not budging and we're not doing this. Well, how about the game? How about let's do some things to help the game? We're in the House settlement. I know I talked about this last week, but I mean, that's a mess. They're changing that rule. They're changing the rules and trying to change the rules in that settlement every day, it seems like. I don't know. It's just frustrating because it's hard to stand up there and really sell everything's okay. And it is okay on Saturdays from a competition standpoint. But outside of those days, there's some issues that have to be fixed and have to be addressed. And when you hear stuff like that, you understand the frustration that some ADs like Danny White seem to have these days.
Brent,
there's my soapbox.
I love it.
I loved it.
We are here for it. I wanted to ask you about the safety position, Brent. I feel like this is a position battle or maybe just a developing kind of situation for Tennessee where there's some question marks. We've not covered a lot with you. Jordan Thomas is a really interesting guy because he was really supposed to play a big role last year. He gets injured. Boo Carter takes over that star position and obviously thrives. What does Jordan Thomas's role look like? How has he recovered from that injury last year? And how much competition is there and question marks are there at that safety position for Josh Heupel to figure out right now?
Well, I think Jordan Thomas is going to medical redshirt this year. I don't think he's going to play.
Okay.
I don't think anybody, and as a media person, it's none of our business to get into it because it's up to Jordan to talk about. But I don't think the severity of that injury was really conveyed when he got hurt. That was not a simple torn ACL injury. There was a lot more involved there with him. So his road to recovery is a long road. So we'll see. I don't expect – he's on the roster. obviously. He's one of two other guys wearing 25. They got 3 25s, I think, on the roster, which tells me he's got a medical, and he's not going to – I don't think he's going to play. So at the safety position, you got Andre Turrentine, who's going to be a starter. And then the other side of that is going to be interesting because you have Edris Farouk, who was a big hitter last year that played some meaningful snaps, was on the field against Georgia late, which was a bit of a surprise, and a guy that I think there's a lot of excitement around because I think he has a lot of ability. He's got to play better in space and not just downhill in the run game and be a big hitter. That's his growth and development. And then I think the other guy in that competition is Caleb Beasley. And I think if you go back and look at Beasley last year while playing corner, he didn't play a bunch of defense. But if you go back and watch special teams, as the season went along, Beasley showed up more and more in the coverage units, more and more in open field play, open space play. And obviously when you're going from playing man as a corner to playing, middle of the field safety, that's a big adjustment in terms of learning to play in space. And I think the special teams work last year really benefited him. I think he's better at safety than at corner at this level. And I think he's going to insert himself in a couple of weeks into that competition between him and Farouk. I think you're going to see them play both of those guys and play 3 safeties, and we'll see if a freshman comes along. But I think Beasley's the guy in that safety rotation there's a little talk about right now who I think is going to have a solid year along with Farouk, and I think they'll just kind of mix and match there and play both those guys.
No doubt. Hubs, on the recruiting front, man, Will and I spoke about it earlier, but Kamari Blair ended up committing to South Carolina. I know there's a lot of other targets that the Vols have. Joel White is in this conversation. Darius Gray also. Where are they at right now closing out the summer before the high school season gets started?
Well, I tell you what, I said this to my staff, and I believe this. If you're a kid who's going through the process and you don't care where you go to school, you're just looking to make a business decision, and it's all about the money side of it for you, commit in late July. because when schools miss out on targets in June and early July, they start to really get aggressive at the end of July. And we saw that with Texas and Tyler Atkinson after they lost Braden Rouse to Tennessee, and they needed a linebacker. I think South Carolina got that way with Blair. And, and that's part of the business. There's nothing wrong with it, but the recruiting at the end of July is a little different than the recruiting in June. So if you're a guy and you're not worried about things in terms of where you're going to live, you might put yourself in a better position at the end of July than any other time in the country or any other time in the year in terms of making a commitment. You mentioned Darius Gray. I think Tennessee's in that. We'll see. I think that feels like a bit of a long shot for me. Obviously, the focus for right now for Tennessee is on the 2 5-stars. And Tristan Keys, a wide receiver who's committed to LSU. I think Tennessee's certainly dead in the middle of that one. And then Savion Hyder. I think the question, with both those guys is when will they make their decision? Is he going to go into the fall, or are they going to do something earlier? We've all thought Keys was going to take a bunch of visits this fall, and he may still do that. We'll see. But he also may make a decision here, a final decision in August. We'll see what he wants to do if he wants to get it done before his senior year. I think Hyder's probably going to do something before September, but I do think he wants to do it in front of his classmates, so I don't think he'll do anything before school starts. But I think both of those guys are potential guys to make decisions earlier in the fall, late summer than we thought initially. And those are the 2 big targets for Tennessee right now. And then you got to throw Joel White in there, who's obviously transferring to Oakland. We'll see where he goes. That one, he may push things back a little while longer. He's adjusting to a new school, a new team, trying to figure out sort of what he's, get his feet wet there and get settled in. I think he might put it on the back burner for a little bit. It may be the fall before he does something.
Hubs, how long are the camp practices in college nowadays? Like, is it about 2 hours and 45 minutes?
Yeah, I would say something like that. I mean, now it's a bit unusual because did you guys do the pre-practice walkthrough stuff? No,
not really. We did it my last year because they got rid of the double days in.
Yeah, okay. So the big thing, one of the big things for a lot of college coaches and coordinators and position coaches is they like to get their guys out on the field and walk through it and get off the board. The board's good, but then they want to go walk through it before they ever go to practice. So when you're doing an install, you put the install in on the board, and then you go down to the practice field and you walk through everything, and then you go to practice. So in terms of being on the field, it's probably longer than that. But in terms of actual practice time, yeah, I'd say 2.5, something like that would be my guess.
Gotcha.
He is Brent Hubbs of All Quested on 3 with us Fridays at 7:20 here on the show as football time in Tennessee gets closer and closer. Great stuff as always, Brent. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it, Hubs.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
Yes, sir. You too. There's Brent Hubbs with us here this morning. Great stuff as always. VolQuest.com, The War Room, a must-read if you are a Tennessee fan. Brent Hubbs brought to you by Ascend Federal Credit Union, your financial partner for every stage of life. Odds are, if you want a rule change to happen in college football, Ramon, just have Tennessee be involved.
The defensive side that Hubs brought up, that's the other side of it for me.
I want to get back into that discussion because that's making the rounds a little bit on social media. What I had to say about it last night, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous what's happening with that rule change. That just magically was what just appeared against Tennessee last season. 615-737-1045 is our number. We'll catch up on some headlines. Eli Drinkwitz on a 30-team playoff? Kind of, maybe, a little bit. Not really. I'll tell you why next.
It's Ramon Foster for Medical House Calls. You can go to medicalhousecalls.com right now. Talk to somebody, and they will be at your front steps before you know it. You can also call or text them, too. Their number is 615-838-2375. Call or text them. And here's the thing. They can do your primary care for you, your urgent care, IV therapy, and even weight loss, man. I know a lot of guys, a lot of people in general just don't like going to the doctor. You don't want to sit in the waiting room. You feel like there's this germy in there. I get it. I understand it. Well, here's a way for you to get at-home urgent care. You can get your primary care. I don't care if it's a sickness, the flu, infections, injuries. You can get your at-home, in-home labs done, too, man. This is a full-service service for you as it pertains to your health, and they make it easy. You can set your time frame on what you want them to show up. They show up to your front door. It's private, exactly how you need it. It's whether you want to get an evaluation done, a full exam, or prescriptions if needed too. Again, this is for folks that like to work out. They can do athletic recovery where you can get you an IV bag, sit in your sit in your living room, watch television, and get full service right at your front door. Again, I trust it's one of those things that if you like full concierge service, this is what they will do for you. Again, their website is medicalhousecalls.com, and the number you can call or text is 615-838-2375, and be sure to tell them that Ramon sent you.
Ramon Will at 104.5 The Zone, wrapping up hour 2 on this Friday morning. Ramon Foster, Will Bowling, Justin Hawkins, our producer. 615-737-1045 is the number. So Eli Drinkwitz talking with the media yesterday. Ramon spoke about a 30-team playoff. 30. In the year of our Lord 2025. We're talking about a 30-team playoff. That's not totally what he was trying to say, but it's kind of the way it came across. He tried to clean it up on social media and say, well, it's not really what I meant. This is a deceiving headline. No. This is the hard count with J.D. Pickell of On 3. And Eli Drinkwitz talking with On 3 in this good national show. JD does a great job. YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Talking about the comparison of, well, the NFL has this many teams go to the playoff. Why don't we have the same percentage of teams? Here's Eli Drinkwitz yesterday.
You just hit the podium and pitched a 30-team playoff. Walk me through that. Is that something you've been stewing on? Is that off the top of the head? We're freestyling up there?
No, it's not really something that's outrageous. It's based off of the 12-team playoff where you had automatic qualifiers, but now we've decided we want to expand it to 16. So instead of doing 11-5, which you're going to put 11 teams in the hands of a human committee that nobody's going to agree. They're all going to have implicit bias. Why would we even do that? I mean, nobody thinks that the NCAA, we spend hours arguing about who was the 69th and 70th team in the NCAA tournament. What do you think we're going to do with the 11 there? So why not expand the opportunities, give 4 play-in games to the SEC, 4 play-in games to the Big Ten, 3 to the ACC, 3 to the Big 12, and say, man, create more opportunities for the fan bases to get excited, create more opportunities for players to compete for championships. And that doesn't sit well with probably some of the blue bloods who are going to consistently be ranked in preseason rankings in the top 25 explicitly because of their names, not necessarily because of their teams, but because of the brand bias that we have in college football. Instead, make people earn it. Make people earn it on the field. Let's have less talk, which doesn't do great for these kind of events, and let's settle it on the football field. And to me, that's what play-in games are. If you're telling me in the SEC, hey, you got to finish in the top 8 for a chance to compete for a playoff berth, that's doable. Then it's not about, oh, well, this is the hardest conference in college football. Yeah, it is, but you got to figure out a way to be 8. In the NFL, you got to figure out a way to be one of the best 4 teams in your division to make the playoffs. 44% of the teams in the NFL make the playoffs. We're talking about 10% of college football teams going to make the playoffs, and we think that's going to keep fan bases encouraged. We think that's going to continue to create multi-billion-dollar industry. College football is still reliant on financial assistance from fans. We can talk about ESPN dollars and all we want, but they still need fans to come to the games and sell tickets. And if at the end of the day, in the next 5 or 10 years, it's still the same 15 teams making it, what are you going to do to the rest of these fan bases? They're going to quit showing up.
That's Eli Drinkwitz, the head coach at Missouri. Ramon, your initial reaction to that is what?
Latter part I side with. Latter part I get with. The idea of having like a 30-team setup, like not everybody has the facilities for that big man. That's what I would tell him. The other part of it is he mentioned the NFL side of it. That's very true, but there's also like there's a huge reduction of players to get to that 1% that he's speaking of. Like the 44% he's speaking of that's making it to the playoffs is because you're already dealing with the 1% of athletes. Respectfully, the smaller schools aren't equipped to defend themselves against the bigger schools that he's saying put them into competition with. Like, that doesn't work out a one-to-one scenario right there. It's a lot closer in the NFL. That's my biggest issue with his stance. His latter part, he has a huge stance. I mean, he has a huge point to be made on that one. I agree with him mostly on the last part. Like, you don't want the interest to go because it's only the 5 that you dream of. And he's feeling super slighted too. Because they're top ranked because of who they are as an organization, as a blue blood. Like, make your school that.
It's irresponsible for him to compare anything in the college football playoff to the NFL. Here's why, Ramon. The NFL has balanced schedules. The NFL every year rewards bad teams to facilitate them no longer being bad teams. It's called the NFL draft, and it's called scheduling. Oh. The Tennessee Titans this year will play 2 teams who also finished last in their division last year. Division winners will play division winners from last season in their respective conferences. College football does not have balanced schedules. Heck, even within their own conferences, Ramon, Indiana had nowhere close to the same schedule as Ohio State, and they're in the same conference. Why are we acting like these are the same things? 44% of NFL teams make the playoffs because all of those teams could feasibly get hot and win the Super Bowl. You're telling me that the 12 seed in the college football playoff could win the national title? No, absolutely not. Look what Tennessee was the 9 seed. Look what happened to them at Ohio State. They weren't even the last team in. Eli Drinkwitz, buddy, you're a lot smarter than this, and you know better. You do. As nerdy as you are and the way that you act and the way that you are as a human, you're a smart guy. Believe me. You're looking out for your own self-interest because you know that Missouri is not getting a lot of seats at the table in the 12-team college football playoff, with all due respect, Eli. You, like every other college football coach, is looking out for yourself, and that's fine. Just admit it. You are not wanting what's really best for college football. There's a reason why 44% of NFL teams make the playoff, because all of them could win it.
Yep.
Because the difference between the good and the bad is this big. In college football, the difference is about the width of the Missouri River, of the Mississippi River that's running through your state. Buddy, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Perfectly stated. Our conversation we had earlier about the percentage of 4 and 5 stars, that's why right there, Eli Drinkwitz. That is why right there. And Missouri's not in that conversation right now. They can get hot. You can get spicy from people, from time to time, what people like to say when it comes to your team. But absolutely winning it, you know what you're getting yourselves into.
It's wild. Absolutely
That
wild.
was a personal point for him.
I do not want to hear a second of, well, the NFL does it. No, different sport. Different sport. Totally. I do not bring Sundays into my Saturdays. And honestly, don't bring Saturdays into my Sundays. These are separate entities that have different challenges and different contexts around the way you build rosters and the way you build schedules. Eli, buddy,
let it go.
Take a seat. Yeah. Anyway, I did not expect to get that worked up about Eli Drinkwitz mentioning a 30-team playoff, but I did.
Don't bring Sundays into my Saturdays.
Clap.
Yeah, I mean, heck, come on. I said hell.
You did.
H-E double hockey sticks.
Zach said stand up when you preaching, okay? Jeez.
Coming up, TJ Watt got paid. What does it mean for another big-time edge rusher? We'll talk about that next.
Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking. I lost 70 pounds and my friend lost 20 pounds in the first 2 months.
Wow, what are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed for only $49.99.
It is 8:02. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone studios, and happy Friday. I'm Justin Hawkins. A lot of NFL news went down yesterday, but the headline, the Pittsburgh Steelers and 7-time Pro Bowler TJ Watt finally agreed on a contract to make the star pass rusher the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. The contract is for 3 years, $123 million and $108 million guaranteed. The deal has an average of $41 million per year, beating out Browns pass rusher Myles Garrett at $40 million a year. Also, the dominoes continue to fall for this year's second-round draft picks as 8 rookies signed the rookie deals yesterday, including Seattle Seahawks safety Nick Emanwari, who signed a 4-year, fully guaranteed $11.6 million contract. It's the first ever fully guaranteed contract for the 35th overall pick in the second round. Also, Titans rookie Olafemi Oladejo, just a reminder, remains unsigned and training camp starts next week. Second round of the Open Championship is going on right now. American Brian Harmon is the leader in the clubhouse at 7 under through 14 and is 5 under on the day. Nashville Soccer Club, they're back in action tomorrow night against Toronto FC at Geodis Park as they try to build off their 3-0 win on Wednesday night. Nashville is unbeaten in the last 10 home matches. First kick is at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Will Bowling, Eddie Carvacho have the call with pregame starting at 7 p.m. right here on 104.5 The Zone. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Ramon Will at 104.5 The Zone, second half of the show on this Friday. Coming up, a visit with a soon-to-be Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer. Big weekend for our good friend Ron Slay of 3HL. He will join us in hour 4 as always. Excited to get the brothers together to reflect on
no doubt
what has been a storied career on the hardwood and talking into microphones that has Ron Slay and the HOF tomorrow.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
By the way, his wife made a video of highlights and stuff, and I didn't realize they were going to put my words about him behind his visuals. So if you hadn't been to Ron Slay, the Ron Slay 35, I think, on social medias, to look at his video, man, it's actually pretty doggone
nice.
Sweet.
I love it.
This is how you let you know how big this is. Dundee Plowman.
She's in the video. Yeah.
The Chancellor.
Yeah. One of the most important people in
Tennessee
in college athletics right now, too.
They got Dundee on there.
Absolutely.
Good Lord, Savage.
We love Dundee. It's a pro Dundee Plowman show.
Pro Dundee Plowman show.
Absolutely.
Always pro Dundee.
I said it on Twitter yesterday, and the same can be said for you as well, and you're going to be humble and push us to the side. But it's true that I said it on Twitter yesterday. There is no better representative for Nashville and the state of Tennessee than Ron Slay.
No doubt about it.
No doubt about it. And the
Easily.
same can be said for Ramon, too. You guys are two of the best ambassadors for the university that you and myself and many of the people listening went to. And so kudos to both of you for using your platforms as such good ambassadors for the university and for the state and for our area. And lots of flowers given and celebrations to be had this weekend. Well deserved.
It is. It'll be a good time, man. I know you got to work and all that, but
I do. I'd be there if I didn't have soccer broadcast
how many jobs
which I'm
you
excited
got?
about.
I brag about how many jobs. How many you got?
I don't know. It depends on the time of year. It's I'll just keep showing up and keep talking about football and sports till they tell me not to.
Yes, sir. I'm here for it.
Honestly, I don't feel like I have any jobs because it doesn't feel like work.
It doesn't. That's what I tell
We're
her.
blessed and lucky to do what we love to do.
My mom would say, at least you're not out here digging ditches with a fork.
That is absolutely right.
And respect to the ones that do it. I know our degenerate friend of the show, Big Orange Mac, be in those manholes and stuff, fixing pipes around the cities and stuff. I salute you.
Absolutely right.
And again, that's why summer's almost over, Big Orange Mac.
So the Pittsburgh Steelers signed edge rusher TJ Watt to a 3-year contract extension worth $123 million, $108 million guaranteed. The deal makes him the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history with an average annual salary of $41 million. So, Ramon, we've talked about this. Pittsburgh paid a lot of people before they paid TJ Watt. if I'm TJ, I'm sitting there thinking, man, you paid a lot of guys that are not in this building before you paid me, who's been in this building, serving you for quite some time now. What was your initial reaction? See the number, and what does this mean for Trey Hendrickson across the division, who is waiting to get paid as well?
Man, for a guy who's 30, what was it, TJ? A late first-round draft pick, man, that some people had questions over because you're the little brother of the guy that's a superstar in his league. He's paved his way, man, made himself one of the most important players. Well, I'll say that he's helped transcend the left DN or outside linebacker position because a lot of people weren't rushing over the right tackle side of the offense, and now teams have to pay attention to that because of guys like him, and I got to throw Von Miller in there, too. Von Miller was one of the first ones to rush over the right tackle spots, man. But it just goes to show when you're good, it's going to come to you. And TJ has been good and consistent for a very long time and deserved to have gotten that. Defensive Player of the Year, 100-sack guy, game record. If I'm not mistaken, I think he ended up was the reason NPF tore his pec or bicep because of that underneath move. He's a game record, one of those ex-players. But as far as Trey Hendrickson goes, Cincinnati, this is why Trey was saying what he was saying at that point. Like, I think Cincinnati has a case to say, well, you've never won Defensive Player of the Year like TJ Watt has. But what TJ did was raise the tide. And right now, if they were going to give Trey Hendrickson $36 million a year, whatever the number's going to be, that number's now going up to at least 38. I don't think he ups TJ Watt as far as getting $42 million, but it's made Cincinnati's price point of negotiating more expensive. Well, Trey Hendrickson's price point more expensive because he's got somebody in front of him to say, look, he's getting that. First, it was Myles Garrett. Now it's TJ Watt, and it's going to be it's going to be upped again, or the floor is going to be raised again because of Trey Hendrickson. And again, so on my podcast, I'm telling my Pittsburgh podcast that I do, I'm telling the fan base, this deal is going to get done in camp. Like, there's no way it's not going to get done. Well, it happened before camp. And in these situations, guys like TJ, guys like Trey Hendrickson, guys, if Jeff was in this position, you somewhat got the team in a corner. And there's no other way around it. You got to maximize yourself while the windows are open. I'll be quite honest. I know Pittsburgh's got a lot of older guys on that roster, but it's appealing to say that you are in the bubble. You're in the conversation to play for a world championship.
Last night, NFLPA Executive Director Lloyd Howell announced his resignation. If you missed it earlier this morning, head up the Ramon Will podcast. In hour number one, at the end of the show when that drops, you'll hear the full breakdown from myself and Ramon and about how we got to this point. There's a lot of different arbitration cases and things that we didn't originally know about Lloyd Howell that we've unearthed over the last month, thanks to Pablo Torre and Mike Florio and the work of some Big J journalists who have essentially just found a lot of conflicts of interest and a lot of missteps by the PA and really by Lloyd Howell since becoming the executive director. Ramon, we were talking about this in the break. I think the big headline within this is, first of all, there's a collective bargaining agreement negotiation that's got to happen in 2030. And now the NFLPA has got to scramble. They got plenty of time, but they got to scramble to find the right person because this is a critical negotiation where there are a lot of owners that are on their way out. Yeah. That want to leave a lasting legacy with the 2030 collective bargaining agreement. I'm talking about Jerry Jones. I'm talking about Arthur Blank. I'm talking about John Mara of the New York Giants, Woody Johnson with the New York Jets. Mike Florio's written about this, and people in the know say this is a key one because the 18th game might be added in 2030, and there is a group of owners that is kind of trying to leave a legacy with this next negotiation. I think the bigger part of this is Lloyd Howell was not the NFLPA executive director for very long in a job that typically, when you get it, you keep it for decades. He was in it for a little under 800 days.
That doesn't happen because that's a position of stability. That's a position that where, well, there's so much history that has to be learned about past negotiations, about the bargaining that you had to do, about the rules and the laws, and just the idea that, like, it is always a fight between the unions and big business is essentially what this is. And you got to have a guy in place that has the full integrity of everybody inside that building that they are representing. And one of the comments that Lloyd Howell said at the Super Bowl preview, which after this interview, apparently, according to Pablo Torre, and he canceled a lot of public appearances because of how he was challenged. Because in his interview, he was talking about the private equity side of things, and the NFL doesn't allow that. But he's essentially said to himself, being a part of a board of directors, that look, I'm a part of one of these groups that want to invest in the NFL. Well, you're compromised because you also represent the player. He really muddied the waters, and it's somewhat, like I said earlier, it takes a hit to the players. They got to deal with this because moving forward, the NFL can currently control the narrative. Well, look, you guys are so dysfunctional. You guys couldn't even figure out how to find the proper executive director. And now you want to negotiate with us? You guys don't even know what's good for yourselves. There's a guy I have in mind I think will be perfect for the job moving forward. It's going to be a matter of how they go about this new search. The integrity, the respect that has to be built
and
back
the
up.
transparency of let the public in on the search, because you've got to hit some check marks and some benchmarks that you are actually going through a process this time.
Yes, sir.
Because there was a very secretive process to hire Lloyd Howell last time,
and it ruins trust.
It does. It absolutely does.
We were saying on break, DeMaurice Smith and Gene Upshaw. Two people who had served that position for 40 years. That's two people in 40 years. And this guy's gone, and Will said, in under 800 days. Mm-hmm. That ought to let you know how dysfunctional it was. And to be quite honest with you, the public perception, if I was ownership right now on the NFL side of things, I'm laughing. I'm laughing so hard. Even if there was collusion, you can't talk about it right now. Like I said, the biggest take away from all of this, and Chris Long said it on his podcast for the most part, like you were holding a smoking gun and watched the entire scene on 4K. Mm-hmm. You could have potentially, because of the collusion, we could have gotten lifetime medical. You could have got a bump in your pension. You could have gotten more guaranteed money in contracts. But because of J.C. Tretter's missteps, allegedly, and Lloyd Howell's involvement.
Well, that part's factual. J.C. Tretter's text that we know he said about Russell Wilson.
Oh, and the podcast where he basically agreed to, he had a podcast where he's basically saying he would tell players they need to hold out and fake injuries to get more money. Mm-hmm. Well, they also went to court about that and found him guilty.
Yep.
So they decided to collude and hide those cases. And now there's no momentum moving in the direction of the players whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Screwed.
Yeah, NFLPA is in a tough spot. They are at this point. 615-737-1045 is the number. Coming up, ESPN.com's cornerback rankings mention L'Jarius Sneed, not as one of the top 10 corners, but that the Chiefs moved on at a good time. What do we expect from Sneed this year, and how prepared are the Titans if L'Jarius deals with injury again in 2025 at the cornerback position? We'll talk about that next.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Good people, man. Nobody wants to deal with a plumbing, HVAC, or an electrical emergency. I say that all the time because it's just a headache to deal with, man. Most of the time, you don't know what it's going to cost or if it's going to get fixed right or if somebody's just trying to sell you something don't need trust. Trust is always a big part of those things, man. But when you call Hiller, reach out to them on their website at happyhiller.com. Their experts are going to solve your problems quickly. And it's because of this reason. Their motto has always been, happy you'll build, the service is free. And that goes in a lot of different ways. When they come to your house, they're going to leave it better and cleaner than they found it. When they walk in, they're going to put on those shoe protectors so they don't track dust and dirt and mud inside of your homes when they're on their way to fix your stuff. The cool part about them is they've been here and in business for over 35 years now, family owned and operated. Their techs are also very professional, experienced, and trustworthy, and they're all background checked and drug screened too. And when they're on the way, you receive a photo of the tech and a link to track them in real time, so you're not wasting time waiting on somebody to show up. So to book with a company that I trust, man, simply visit happyhiller.com.
Ramon Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee, 104.5 The Zone. Second half of the show, off and running. 11-year NFL veteran Ramon Foster, Will Bowling, Justin Hawkins, our producer. You can follow us on Twitter at Ramon Foster. I am at Will_Bowling, spelled Boling, not Bowling, like the guy who tried to get me fired the other day. L'Jarius Sneed, Ramon, is one of the X factors of this season for me. And when you talk about biggest questions, we're going to do a Foster 5 next week. I think I'm telling you this for the first time live on air. We'll do a Foster 5 early next week on the 5 biggest question marks facing the Tennessee Titans entering training camp. I'll go ahead and spoil my number one. L'Jarius Sneed's health and availability and role he's going to play this year, I think is my biggest question mark about this team entering the season. We're going to get into what an ESPN.com article said about him from a personnel person in the league. For you, Ramon, what are your expectations for L'Jarius Sneed this season?
I feel like I got to breathe a little bit because
it's hard to know. It
is hard to know because I know what he was, but, well, you have to ask the question, man, without looking at the tape and considering what's happened. Where's the health? Okay, let's put the health in play. But I do believe on good teams make average and good players good or great. And when you have the support of an offense or guys around you to help uplift you too, you take a lot of heat off yourself. You put yourself in a position to make plays you probably won't necessarily do because your skill is so good because you had time to wait on guys on plays. You can make an offense more predictable when Chris Jones is up front or you got somebody else that's rushing and getting after the quarterback the many ways that they do or the linebacker group that they have. And those are the things where I feel like L'Jarius Sneed was brought in to assist the front 7 of this defense more than he has before. But his ability with it not being, well, it's Jeff and it's the questions that we have right now. Can he hold up on the back end of coverages the way he was in Kansas City a couple of years ago? And not just that, man. Like you said, you mentioned the injury side of it. I'm okay with him starting 17 games if he finished those 17 games. It can't be 17 games and he's coming out of 6 of them, and then you end up losing because they're picking on the backup in those situations. I myself will, looking at this training camp on the defensive side of the ball, not knowing L'Jarius Sneed's health, and saying, I got to look at my second depth player. I got to look at the backups more. If he's on the schedule to where he's in a position to not practice every single day, if I'm Denard Wilson, I'm on the backups behind. You got to be ready. And I'm going to be the biggest jerk to you than you probably ever had in your entire life. You know why? Because I don't know if I'm going to have him for 17 games and 1,000 snaps this year. Though, it's worrisome, to be quite honest with you, Will.
An NFL personnel evaluator told Jeremy Fowler of ESPN.com when honorable mentioning L'Jarius Sneed in the ranking of top corners in the league, saying, quote, I know he had a rough year with the injuries and some off-the-field stuff, but he was really good for 3 years in Kansas City. The Chiefs must have known it was a good time to walk away. 5 games last season for Sneed. He didn't play after week 6 in Indianapolis. Sneed missed the last 12 games with a thigh injury. As he continues to rehab, he has been in the building. He's been in the facility. He has the off-field dispute that, according to a report from Paul Kaharski, has been sent to a mediator for that to be dealt with and settled. That's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
That is a good thing. I think that means that it is fair to assume that will not keep him off the field.
Sounds like, to be quite honest, money's going to be paid out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we won't get in the weeds on that, but that is the update on that. Again, Paul Kaharski with the report that sent to a mediator. A good sign that it will not keep him off the field for disciplinary reasons, I would imagine. Mm-hmm. What you get from him, I think, changes everything for this defense. If you get top 10 cornerback in the league play again from L'Jarius Sneed, let's say that's the best case scenario, Ramon.
Yeah.
How good can this defense be?
If you're getting top 10
top 10 in the league at corner from L'Jarius Sneed, maybe that's an unfair expectation. If you think it is, tell me.
It's not.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I don't think it is either.
No. Your market is what your market is. So I hate to say based upon the bag, but based upon the bag, he should be a top 10 type of guy. Based upon, to be quite honest with you, him not playing more than 5 games last year, the way he was brought over here in that trade and sign, he's supposed to be a top 10 guy, Will. His reputation in Kansas City has shown that he can play ball even as a young guy. So what do I always say? By year 3 or 4, you're the guy that you're supposed to be moving forward. If he's the guy that we think he's supposed to be moving forward, Will, we're talking about a great growth year for a guy like Jarvis Brownlee Jr., who might get picked on a little bit, Will, but the idea that, look, you can help more on Jarvis's side, more than you should on L'Jarius' side, the defense should be able to get after the quarterback a whole lot better, Will. There should be more balance in it. Barring it being, you know what I'm saying, you can't stop a nosebleed when it comes down to stopping the run. I don't expect L'Jarius Sneed to be a run-stopping corner. I expected him to be a blanket for one side of the field and to copy and follow the opposing team's number one wide receiver. That's my expectations for a guy like him. So if I'm going to give a number to it, I say this defense could or should be better than average defensively if you can put a cover on the back end of this defense.
Last season, the Titans were 30th in the NFL in points allowed. However, they were second in yards allowed. The Titans also last season, Ramon, we haven't talked about this, they faced the fewest amount of passing attempts of any defense in the NFL.
Why would you? Why would you?
A lot of short fields because of interceptions and special teams gaffes. Plus, they were more inconsistent in stopping the run than they have been in quite some time. Titans drafted, of course, Marcus Harris in the 6th round. They signed free agent Amani Oruwariye, who is a special teamer from Dallas, who has also played corner. 6-year veteran Oruwariye, 61 NFL games. He's made 40 starts and has 10 interceptions. Not just a guy. Oruwariye is probably likely to make the roster at corner. Probably at the expense of someone like Gabe Jeudy-Lally, who was right on the bubble of practice squad and active roster last season. Those guys in active competition.
He's a big corner, too, at 6'2", 205.
Sure.
Yeah, coverage.
Titans then in the undrafted free agent market, Ramon, I think told us how concerned they are with Sneed's health. 6 of the Titans' 16 announced UDFA signings are corners. Darrell Baker is here. Yeah. Gabe Jeudy-Lally is still here. Jamari Harris, the undrafted corner out of Iowa, of all of the undrafted players that we've talked about, might have the best chance of making the roster of any undrafted free agent rookie on the Titans roster this season. Between him, Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon, David Benda, of course, Xavier Restrepo, it might actually be Jamari Harris who's the guy with the best possibility to make the roster. For you, how well prepared is this defense for life without L'Jarius Sneed this year? Because they were fine last year without him against the pass, but they also saw the least amount of passing attempts of any defense in the NFL.
And the better part of it is it was last year, I feel like the expectation that L'Jarius was just going to be ready week 1. So you operated in that manner too. And it's the same way we've heard Miles Kitselman speak about like the backups, or the quarterback competition in Knoxville. Like guys know when you know you're in it, your preparation is a little bit different. Your practice is a little bit different. Your idea that, look, they need me and I need them is a little bit different too. But this is also, I think, for the most part, besides them removing the 4th game in the preseason, this is why it's so important to have these joint practices. That's why I'm hoping if for this squad and for any team that goes through this, like, you have to be in a position where you have perfect weather scenarios. I know they got to go down to Tampa and stuff like that, and it's random rain, pop-up showers that happen. But, Will, that 101s versus Tampa versus Atlanta is crucial in these moments. So you do have the opportunity, talking to the defensive coordinators down there or the offensive coordinators, and saying to yourself, I need looks from this guy. Can you put one of your dudes on him so that we can get a real life example of what he is as a player? I feel better about the idea because there's time. There's a month and some change before the season kicks off. And in that, you have every scenario you want in front of you. Is it worrisome still? Yeah, because these guys don't have the experience. You talk about a Jamari Harris. Like, I like his style, like where he played at.
Undrafted rookie free agent from Iowa.
But we've seen these guys show up in time and time again before. Sure. It's not out of the realm to think that, look, he can help and start the season off. That's why I say you pinpoint the guys that you know are going to be your dudes, and you put them through the grinder, Will. It's not as worrisome this year.
One question I wanted to ask you, maybe I'm reaching here. If Kevin Winston Jr. gets healthy and is on the team, on the field, not just on the team, obviously he's going to make the team, on the field at safety.
Yeah.
Let's say the worst case scenario is that L'Jarius Sneed battles the knee thing, the thigh, whatever it is, and the Titans have to get help in the defensive secondary.
Yeah.
Amani Hooker earlier in his career was in a big nickel third down set, kind of like another nickel corner.
Right.
Can this team rely more on their safety depth? Like, does Kevin Winston Jr. get on the field more when you're in a dime look, where if you're in that big nickel set again that Mike Vrabel loved on third downs defensively, where Roger McCreary and Jarvis Brownlee can still be outside corners, but Amani Hooker is that extra corner in a pinch in situations where you can put Xavier Woods, Kevin Winston Jr., and Amani all on the field at the same time.
That's essentially like a dollar defense, essentially what you're asking for in those moments. Now, it'd be all passing situations right there, too. You compromise the run in those moments, so you got to look at those guys' physicality, which Kevin Winston Jr. is known for his physicality, too. So, yes, it's the idea that you can put a young guy on the back end of it based upon the offensive scenarios that they present the defense. Now, it does simply goes down to, well, we speak about safeties being corners and vice versa. Do you have the coverage skills to get the job done? Do you understand the defense in your zones that you're supposed to be in? Where are you compromising those moments? The idea of it happening, yes, it's very feasible that it should, but it also depends upon what the defense is giving up that day and what the offense is also presenting you with, because you can go dollar, but what that probably means in those moments, basically is nickel and then dollar, right, or quarter. 6 DBs. Are you blitzing to stop the run, and can those guys handle those moments right there? You put in those bodies around the line of scrimmage as it pertains to the run support, because that's what you're not also trying to give up. So it's a cat and mouse game to get to that point, Will, but the answer should be yes, with the idea that you're going to be compromised somewhere, either through age or through skill in those moments right there.
L'Jarius Sneed said a few weeks ago at a football camp, talking to local TV stations, said, I'm healthy. I'm healthy as I've been. Last year, my first year, didn't go as planned, but it's time to come out and show the world what God's been instilling in me this entire year. Sneed goes on to say, I'm ready to get back in the field. That's my life. That's what I do for a living. I missed the whole year, and I have to remind everybody who L'Jarius Sneed is.
What sucks for him is this crowd here hadn't seen it. Like, that's great. That's phenomenal motivation, self-motivation. But, I know worse. Well, I'll say this. I think majority of this fan base is probably side-eyeing the entire deal and who he is as a player because they hadn't seen it here.
Well, and I think there's an element of, did Kansas City know something we didn't? Like, good organizations know when to move on. And, again, an NFL personnel evaluator tells Jeremy Fowler, the Chiefs must have known it was a good time to walk away. That deal was a win for the Titans when it was made.
Yeah.
Today, it looks like a win for the Kansas City Chiefs. And the guy that helped make it happen for Kansas City is also the GM now, by the way, and Mike Vergonzi, who did that deal with Chad Brinker. I think it is one of the biggest questions facing this team. I don't have the answer for it. I think only L'Jarius Sneed knows at this point how healthy he is. And until we see him out there in the field and media has the chance to catch up with him and talk with him, that's my biggest question facing this team next week, Ramon, is L'Jarius Sneed's health. Because I also want Cam Ward practicing against L'Jarius Sneed. That's the thing now that becomes a different part of this equation. Because last season, L'Jarius Sneed was managed, and there was some maintenance during camp, but L'Jarius Sneed was still on the field for a lot of practice. You want Cam Ward going up against that.
Yeah.
And that is where I think when you don't get to watch training camp and you just read the reports of how it went, you are missing important context. We talked about this with Cam Ward during minicamp and OTAs. When a guy goes 21 of 22 at practice, who's he throwing against?
Exactly.
Who is he going up against? Yep. What's the defense trying to do? Is the defense being told to throw the kitchen sink at him? Is it one of those days? Is it a situational day? Is it red zone? All these things, right? Like, the context of practice matters. And the context of Cam Ward being challenged by L'Jarius Sneed is something I think is really valuable for Cam at this point of his development.
But that group too, the safeties and corners, I don't think people make this correlation enough. They are, to me, the same as the offensive line is too. These guys got to know each other. These guys got to know how far or how fast they can drop into their zones. If the safety's going to have to help Jarvis or L'Jarius in moments like that. Right. What I'm getting at, there's a level of cohesion that has to be had amongst that group in the secondary. That's the same as the offensive line, too. I think those group are parallels in how the jobs are done. When there's something bad that happens, you immediately know it. It's the same thing for the offensive line, too. So your point about the availability of him being out there so that Jarvis Brownlee can understand it, we can watch these guys grow and be on the same page, is crucial. Now, his health has to come first because I like the availability of having guys throughout the course of the season, but you need to be there to that point, though. And I think as young as this group is and as new it is, too, they got to have all hands on deck.
615-737-1045. What do you expect out of L'Jarius Sneed this season on the Tennessee Titans defense? Brian has tweeted at us, which you can do as well, at Ramon and Will. Says, I have no expectations for Sneed. Between the health and legal situation, I'd rather see what we have on the roster than rely on him. Well, you have to rely on him. You got, 20 million reasons to rely on him.
Is it this year and next year, basically, for the most part? I'm just throwing it out there and how I think this contract is probably going to work out.
You don't have a choice to just rely on everyone else. You have to rely on L'Jarius Sneed. And you have an out after this year, if you want it, which, $22.5 million cap hit this year. You could get out for $8 million of dead cap in 2026. The thing is about L'Jarius Sneed, he's not 35.
No.
He's not Jonathan Joseph when Jonathan Joseph came to the Titans. L'Jarius Sneed is 28 years old.
He's young. Yeah.
He was born the same year I was. Dang it, I'm getting to the age now where guys are considered veterans and they're my age. I hate it here. I'm halfway kidding. He's still 28.
Yeah.
I know he's dealt with some injuries, and last year that was more about the practices that he missed versus games. Last year was really the first year that he'd been off the field for games in his career. I don't know. Maybe it's the optimist in me. I've not totally given up on L'Jarius Sneed.
I neither, because, again, when he's speaking the way he is with the offseason that he's had, it's fine. That's a great place to be, because in football, it has to happen mental first, to be quite honest with you. If you locked out mentally, Will, you might as well just go ahead and retire. That's just how that going, especially at that position, too, where it's all eyes on you if something bad or good happened, too. I'm optimistic about it, but I like probably a lot of this fan base is side-eyeing the heck out of it, too, just because of the availability side, because that knee was supposed to be a small thing and then turned into a years-long ordeal that somewhat compromised the back end of the defense, too.
It's interesting to me, PFF did not like L'Jarius Sneed last year, which I thought was odd in the moment because he wasn't bad when he was on the field.
Oh.
His coverage grade was a 36.3 from Pro Football Focus when he was available last season. The other stat I found yesterday looking at this, opponents' drives last year, Ramon, started at their own 32.3 yard line. That was 30th for NFL defenses last season for the Titans, and that has to do more with Will Levis throwing interceptions and giving teams short fields, and special teams units allowing long returns for where drives were starting. Teams were routinely starting possessions in the Titans' territory.
We're talking about 10-plus yards further than almost anybody else at that point on touchbacks and stuff. I'll be, as an offensive guy, when we got the ball the 20 and inside, it does become a little bit worse because there's so much grass that you got to get from the defense.
Yeah.
You start 30-plus, Will, you feel real good about your offense at that point.
To put it simply, for this upcoming season, the Titans either need their edge rusher production and getting after the passer to step up to make life easier on their corners, or they need L'Jarius Sneed to be healthy enough to where he's locking down a number one week in and week out that gives the pass rush time to get home. Because it's unfair of us to expect Tavondre Sweat and Jeffrey Simmons to put up major sack numbers when guys can get open right off the jump because number one receivers aren't going up against a legitimate number one corner. And that's no disrespect to Jarvis Brownlee, who I think is a good young player.
He's growing.
But he's not a number one lockdown corner in this league the way the Titans signed and traded for L'Jarius Sneed to be. 615-737-1045, our number. We stream the show live at 1045 The Zone TV and the 1045 The Zone app. Coming up, a niche sports minute for you. A little bit of golf, a little bit of soccer. We'll tell you what NSC's doing tomorrow and who's leading in the Open Championship at Royal Portrush coming up next. Ramon Will, 104.5 The Zone, and wrapping up hour 3 this morning. We are fueled by Scooters Coffee, locally owned near you in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. The Open Championship continuing at Royal Portrush as the lefty Brian Harmon has taken the lead, 8 under, in with a 6 under round this morning at Royal Portrush, the 153rd Open Championship. Ho Tong Lee is still in second. And then you've got, stop it. You still got my pronunciations probably aren't very good.
No, it was good.
You've got a 5-way tie or 6-way tie for third at 5 under. Tyrrell Hatton, Robert McIntyre, Chattanooga's own Harris English, Matt Fitzpatrick, Tony Finau, and Rasmus Højgaard. There was a story this week, by the way, speaking of Tennessee connections to golf. Trivia question for you, Ramon Foster.
Talk to me nicely, Will. Let's go.
Where was Rory McIlroy committed to play college golf?
Vandy?
No.
Rory
McIlroy. Justin, do you know this? Before you answer, do you know?
No, I don't.
Do you not? Okay. Any guesses?
Is it an SEC school?
No.
Okay.
It's not an SEC school.
No.
He was committed to go to
It's a wild little piece of trivia.
Sanford?
No. Tennessee school.
Oh, a
A
Tennessee
Tennessee
school.
college. Not UT.
Not UT. Okay, all right, even better.
Memphis.
No. That's not a
I'm
Tennessee.
trying to think. Hold on, give me 1 second.
Oh, my God.
Does
kidding.
Lipscomb have a golf team?
Probably, but not them.
Not them.
ETSU.
Bingo.
ETSU.
Rory McIlroy was going to go to Pals. What? He was going to live in Johnson City. No, I'm serious. I'm literally, there was a feature done on it this week. Yeah, that's like a little known fact. I'd known that, but there was another story on it this week. It's pretty funny.
I mean, but ETSU's landscape looks probably a lot like England and the rolling lands and stuff, rolling hills. Right?
I like Johnson City.
Do you?
Johnson City is a fun little town.
So why did he not?
I don't know. I didn't read the story.
Probably too good to go.
I mean, he went pro.
Probably too good to go.
These 2-match NSC weeks are a little busy. I don't do as much just reading and perusing articles as much as usual.
My first answer would be, why didn't Mookie go to Tennessee? Probably too good to go.
Well, the story of that is they really did think that he was going to get to campus.
Mookie Betts was going to make it to campus.
Like,
go Vols. Mookie.
There's an alternate history out there where Dave Serrano gets Mookie Betts to campus at Tennessee and maybe hangs on to his job a little bit longer. I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, they still had Nick Senzel, and the team was still not very good.
That's
like,
nuts.
one player doesn't make or break you in baseball the way it does in basketball and even to a larger extent football at certain positions.
Yeah.
But they were really confident he was getting to campus based on the way things were falling, and that call was pretty crushing for Mookie to Tennessee coach, just to be like, hey, I'm sorry.
Jeez.
The Red Sox were offering a ton, and he went.
I mean, and rest is history at that point, too. Congratulations, too, to all the draft picks this past week. Did you hear the one interesting story, too, real quick?
There's a lot of them.
On this year's draft, the kid out of Illinois, who's the lefty, the fastest pitch ever by a lefty in high school, 103 miles per hour.
Oh.
Now, went undrafted because I think his plans were to go to college late in his process, but he's going to Mississippi State right now. 103 lefty off the mound in high school.
That's pretty good.
Going to state, went undrafted. I had a buddy of mine tell me teams usually still go ahead and draft those guys because they'll have the rights first, I guess, whenever they come back out, if I'm not mistaken. However it goes, I'm not sure. But 103 off the mound from a lefty.
Goodness.
Yeah. The game has changed.
Crazy.
Yes, it is.
That is wild.
If they get drafted, don't they have to they either have the decision to go to college, you have to play 3 years, or you can go straight to the league.
Yes.
Unless you are 21 as a sophomore, then you can go to the
so
you can go to Major League Baseball. So there are, like, Dean Curley this past year was a draft-eligible sophomore. Blade Tidwell for Tennessee, who's now with the Mets organization, was a draft-eligible sophomore as well from Loretto High School.
Yes. Jack Bauer is his name. He was
the 24 guy?
No. The one that's throwing
Bauer?
103.
The guy that saved the U.S. from Russia?
Yeah. Exactly.
No wonder. Jack Bauer, of course. He could throw 103.
Yes.
Well, there's like 5 people out there that are like, yes! And the rest of you are like, what are you talking about?
But this Jack Bauer out of Illinois was the 44th ranked prospect and went undrafted. There's questions around it, but you make family decisions like that.
Huh.
So, yeah.
Interesting.
Touched 95 his junior year.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is absolutely crazy. Yeah, no, that whole process is so interesting. It is why too. Like, I respect so much programs like LSU, like Vanderbilt, like Tennessee now, and Arkansas that are consistently good when your best players are routinely just taken from you in the MLB draft.
Crazy.
Like, it's so hard to be consistent when any given year you might keep 3 or 4 of your kind of quote unquote 5-star prospects, then you might keep none of them in your class based on just what a Major League Baseball team is willing to pay that given year. It's so inconsistent.
That's the most sensible transfer portal then probably has to be for baseball if that's the case because of how the draft works.
And Brent Hubs has talked about it a lot, and he makes a great point. He's brought it up that it's challenging for baseball coaches because the portal's going on, but they don't know how many spots they have open.
Yeah.
Like Reese Chapman and Dalton Bargo, 2 Tennessee outfielders, did not get drafted. They can now come back if Tennessee has a spot for him. Yeah. But the question is Tennessee willing to tell maybe a young guy who's already on the team who thought they had a spot for, like, hey, buddy, I'm sorry. These guys didn't get drafted. We don't have a spot for you anymore.
Right.
Like, a lot of hard conversations are happening around college baseball programs, not just Tennessee this week.
Or they find money at other schools. I know Georgia did that big time. I heard last year is if you went later than expected, and I think all teams have done that.
Well, but the portal's closed.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I believe beginning of July, the baseball portal closed. Like, you can still commit if you already entered the portal, but you can't enter it. Like Dalton Bargo and Reese Chapman either will sign professional contracts as undrafted free agents or will have to come back to Tennessee. They don't have a third option. They can't go somewhere else.
Yeah, that's tough.
Crazy. Coming up, there was a comment made by John McDade, the director of officials of the SEC, this week at SEC Media Days. He used an example of something Tennessee did last year to talk about a new point of emphasis, a rule change in college football that was still enforced against Tennessee last year. And we're going to talk about it coming up next.
Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking. I lost 70 pounds and my friend lost 20 pounds in the first 2 months.
Wow, what are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed for only $49.99.
It is 9:01. Good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Justin Hawkins, and happy Friday. A lot of NFL news yesterday, but the headline, Pittsburgh Steelers and 7-time Pro Bowler TJ Watt agreed on a contract to make the star pass rusher the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. The contract is for 3 years at $123 million and $108 million guaranteed. The deal has an average of $41 million per year, and it beats out Browns star pass rusher Myles Garrett at $40 million per year. Also, dominoes continue to fall for this year's second-round draft picks as 8 rookies signed their rookie deals yesterday, but Titans rookie Oluwafemi Oladejo, he remains unsigned, and training camp starts next week. Second round of the Open Championship right now. American Brian Harmon is the leader in the clubhouse at 8 under and he finished the day for a round of 65. Nashville Soccer Club is back in action tomorrow night against Toronto FC at Geodis Park as they try to build off their 3-0 win on Wednesday night. Nashville is unbeaten their last 10 home matches. First kick tomorrow night is at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Will Bowling, Eddie Carvacho have the call with pregame starting at 7 p.m. right here on 104.5 The Zone. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go to the fourth and final hour this morning. The show that is just a couple cups of sugar shy of as country as a sugar sandwich. We quote the great Brent Hubs on that one.
I thought you were going to say terrific. Show that's number one, but I never mind. I didn't say that.
I will say a thank you to our listeners, a thank you to our audience for your support. Things we continue to get good news about the audience and good news about the way you guys are consuming our show. A thank you to all of you. If you are listening to the sounds of our voices right now, things are going well, and we appreciate you.
No doubt. And I'll even say this. For the ones that give us critiques, do like, don't like, love, hate, I legitimately thank you, too, because to be quite honest with you, it can make you better. It's not all peaches and cream every single time. So, but as Will said, thank y'all, and that's probably as blatant as it can be without us saying anything else. Will
another way? Yes, thank you. Round of applause for the audience. We appreciate all of you for being a part, and the feedback we continue to get from you guys. It's as much detail as we'll go into has been really positive. So we thank you for that over the last couple of months. If you like the show, then you should like the partners of the show. That's one way to show that you like the show is go buy Scooter's Coffee today and download the Scooter's Coffee mobile app. Tell them Ramon Will sent you. They're locally owned near you. Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. We not only want to elevate the show, our platform, our podcast stuff, but also the partners that make this show possible and bring us to you. And Scooter's Coffee is, of course, our title sponsor. They are our partner. They are our partners in crime and good. And it's a good way to celebrate a Friday with a cinnamon roll.
No doubt.
Good stuff.
I was joking with you, man. I keep getting these ads on social media about clothing items and stuff like that. I like to look nice every once in a while. You know, I'm out here like Caden Proctor, okay? You're too big to be out here looking bad or smelling bad, so I like to look good. And the wife's out of town. So what I'm telling you is this. There might be a couple boxes that show up to the house.
So, yeah, if a package shows up from Amazon.com, you're not going to get judged for it?
No, I will not get judged for it. I'm going to hang them up. I'm going to throw the boxes and the packaging out too. She'll never even know. Never even know.
Coming up in 15 minutes, soon to be Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer. Ron Slay is going to join us. I can't wait.
Tomorrow, listen.
Be a fun visit with
there
Slay
should be
today.
Strobe lights. Like that's that type of like
strobe lights.
Will, look, you know.
And now, starting at forward.
You know how silly I was as you about to start doing your wedding planning and stuff too. You remember we talked about that golf simulator too. We got to see if we can still rent that for you.
That got vetoed.
But hear me out though.
It's
but
okay.
like the stuff that I was trying to do, Will, I looked at like strobe lights for my wedding. I tried to see if there was a pyrotech that I could like have come shoot fireworks after. I was trying to go over and beyond. It rained, okay, which is supposed to be good luck, and we had a ball too.
Nice.
Oh, we had a blast, man. Yeah, we need to revisit that golf simulator thing.
No, it's fine. We don't.
Depending on the price, I might. Nah.
If you missed
Should
it
I
a
be a
couple
wedding
of
gift?
weeks ago, I saw that at a wedding, somebody had a golf simulator for the guests.
I would.
Like a portable one. And I told my lovely fiance, Peyton Kennedy, News 2, shout out, that I wanted one. And that was as quickly as something had gotten vetoed in our entire wedding planning process. Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. I'm still going to be there. I'll still meet her at the altar, but it's fine. I tell her all the time, it's her wedding. I just show up and I meet her there. So that's how we're going to do it.
I did have a Tennessee cake, though.
Oh, no, yeah, that may happen. Rocky Top will be played. Don't worry about it.
Okay, all right. I was just checking.
No, don't worry about it. There are plenty of Tennessee-themed things that are going to occur.
You got to play. The DJ's got to play at least one International Players Anthem. Have to.
Okay.
Like, Andre 3000 part. Keep your heart.
The one
through
that I'm
stacks.
looking
Oh,
forward
my
to,
God.
the two I'm looking forward to hearing the most at my reception, other than Rocky Top, Down by Jay Sean featuring Lil Wayne.
I got to hear that one, man.
And No Hands. Roscoe Dash. ROSEOE, Miss Ashadi, put it on me. Please.
My dog no ball,
Rain,
man.
go away. That's what all my haters say.
Listen, they might be throwing it in the circle. You'd play do it with no
My
hands
pocket's
and,
stuck on overload. My rain never evaporates. 615-737-1045. We have thought about doing that as a bit of me and a corny broadcast voice doing rap lyrics that I like, but I think only I and maybe 5 of my friends would laugh at that, and maybe you included.
I can't wait to laugh at because what I want to tell you, you play do it with no hands. Okay, I want to see your wedding party
Girl,
get
the way
ratchet.
you're moving. That's like the song.
friends.
That's the song of college for me.
Woo, yeah, I can
That
see
is
that.
the song of college for me.
Well,
that and Mr.
man, on the back
Brightside,
end
because
of
that kind of had a like that again. My generation is just taking things that happened from earlier generations and making them our own. Like that and Mr. Brightside became huge deals while I was in college. Neither of them came out anywhere close to the 4 years I spent at the University of Tennessee at Knoxville.
Yeah,
Anyway.
listen to me, bud. JK is asking, can he come in the studio with us? No, but we will be doing our shoe drive with a Princess Hot Chicken, too, later this summer.
Nice.
Soon. I'll announce it later, just so you know.
Lovely.
JK.
I'll be there. Time and place. I'm there.
I got a date. We hadn't announced it yet.
Okay, well,
we're
we'll
going to make
talk.
it happen, though.
I'll have my people talk to your people.
Listen, just throw a couple $20 in there so we can get a kid a pair of shoes, too, man.
So earlier we talked about this a little bit. I wanted to go into detail. There is a new rule in college football this season. Well, a rule that was assessed last year to Tennessee in Athens. So in college football, when you substitute as an offense in a no huddle or just in any context, the defense is given time to match up. Yeah. You see this happen a lot. In fact, this rule became more talked about and emphasized when Tennessee had 13 men on the field at LSU, Derek Dooley's first season in Knoxville, when Tennessee was not given a chance to substitute, when LSU substituted late on that goal line stand. Tennessee had 13 guys in the field. Derek Dooley, between that and the too many men on the field and the 10-second runoff rule that started, again, because of Tennessee in the Music City Bowl against UNC. That whole thing happened. So when you substitute, the ref will stand over the ball with his hands out, outstretched like he's about to fly, fists out, and allow the defense to sub. So
to match personnel.
To match personnel.
Fairness of the game.
So the way teams have started to counteract tempo is they will very slowly jog off the field to slow down up-tempo offenses. This is something that defenses are using against Tennessee, by the way. Mm-hmm. So in reality, this is actually more of a thing against Tennessee than it is for Tennessee.
Sure.
So last season, Tennessee started doing it on defense, where and I noticed it the most against NC State, because NC State and Grayson McCall, that early game in the season in Charlotte, Tennessee would slow them down by jogging everyone off the field to then force the offense to take a timeout.
Yep.
Well, in the second half against Georgia, of course, if you watch that game, important part of the season for Tennessee, on a 2nd and 7 with 8 minutes left in the third quarter, on the 21-yard line, a tie game between Tennessee and Georgia, Tennessee does this. Jeremiah Thielander runs off the field. He slaps hands with the Tennessee linebacker, the ref standing over the ball. And then Jackson Moy, the Tennessee defensive tackle, very slowly runs off the field later than what Thielander was doing. Well, Georgia then was allowed to start the play, and the ref did not stand over the ball for the entire time that Jackson Moore took to walk off the field.
Yes,
he was walking.
Yes.
He was walking off the field. Tennessee gets a 2-minute on the field penalty. Georgia ends up scoring a touchdown on that drive to take the lead. They never looked back. Georgia still was going to win that game. I am not, because people are going to, Vandy fans are already in my comments. Classic Will complaining about why you didn't win the game. No, this is not why, I'm going to say this slowly. This is not why Tennessee lost that game. However, it was a rule that was very inconsistently applied last season. Now this year, Ramon, I know I'm rambling. I apologize.
No, go ahead. Go off.
Now this season, in the SEC, John McDade, director of officials, says you have to run off the field at an athletic pace. Good luck implementing that. Good luck enforcing that. This rule was magically just enforced last season. Literally on the screen behind John McDade, there's a video of the play that I'm talking about as John McDade talks about this being a new rule.
Yeah.
It's not new if you implemented it last year in Athens.
Absolutely.
It's not new at all.
Right. This is something you do at the All-Star game, the way like they do like the tapping of the head to see if it was a ball or strike. You do it then. You don't do it in game and say, "Oh yeah, we're installing."
By the way, as you see above me, this is a new rule we're implementing that was implemented last year in Athens.
It's one of those things like, why don't y'all just get this right? And it does seem like in a game like that, like you said, Will, I don't think the Vols had enough to get that win anyway. Georgia was steaming back anyway.
No, absolutely right. Tennessee could not stop a tight end wheel route the entire game.
Exactly. But the fairness of the game should have allowed, if it wasn't told to the teams up front that we're doing this game, they should have been allowed for Jackson Moore to get in, him and T-Lander to get in and off the field in those moments right there.
Or at least warn the sideline.
Exactly. Hey, coach, you guys need to speed it up. Well,
Coach, we're going to start calling this.
Exactly. But did you tell them? Like, the refs are supposed to, and teams have gotten smart to your point. If the offense subs, the defense has the opportunity to match personnel. That's the fairness of the game right there. And it sucks in that moment right there because it did become like, what? We're calling this? We got the short end of the stick of it. But the other side of it is just the random falling down. Are we doing delay of games on stuff like that? Or is this going to be consistent across the board for offenses and defenses? Because, again, it sucks to be in a position where you're the example when nobody was notified that this was going to be a part of the problem moving forward.
Third and Vandy tweets at me, says, "Hey, Will, why don't you talk about Tennessee offensive linemen faking injuries after every extra point and field goal?" I have. I'll do it again. Tennessee's thing of an offensive lineman always being hurt after extra points when they scored too fast is tacky. You can't complain about fake injuries from Ole Miss and do that. So I'm going to call it both ways. It's tacky. And I think that should probably stop too if we're going to be consistent. The thing is, this rule is not something I'm complaining about, something that hurts Tennessee. At the end of the day, this is going to help Tennessee's offense get back to high tempo because it's another way that defenses can't slow down the tempo and force Tennessee to take a timeout. So this is happening against Tennessee as well. This is not a Tennessee issue. Tennessee's been being used as an example. So that's part of it where the Vols come into the equation. However, at the end of the day, I actually think this helps the Vols be more up-tempo on offense if they want to be.
It keeps the pace of the game going, specifically for the Vols. And then the other side of it is, too, that's why I love no huddle, too, Will, to be quite honest with you. If we can keep the ball going, keep the defense on the field, tire them out, oh, my gosh, we're cooking. There's no question about who's going to win the game at that point. But this is one of them, we've caught up to you Tennessee moments, I feel like, when it comes down to how they're manipulating these coming in and off the field.
Vandy Man on YouTube says, "Why does it always have to be Vandy fans?" You tell me.
I'll be real with you, Vandy. Can I say? I'm gonna go ahead and say it.
You tell me.
No, Vandy Man, like legitimately, like I know you're probably thinking Will is always like the vent. It's not. Like I see his mentions, and to be quite honest with you, I'm not sure if these guys went to school with Will, have been around Will, or whatever case may have been. But my guy get a lot of hate from your fan base. I'll be completely honest. Some of it's just like strays too. So in his defense, just go look at the mentions. It's there for you. It's been some times I've said stuff on Will's post, and I get no strays my way. Like, appreciate you, Will. Thank you, Will.
So I put that out at Will_bowling. And again, that's where the Vandy podcaster, in this case, different.
I mean,
one third and Vandy responded.
God gives his strongest battles to his best soldier. Thank you, Will.
It doesn't bother me, but it is. Honestly, some of them did probably go to school with me because they sure as heck didn't go to Vandy.
Or played against you. You said because they did not go to Vandy. What is wrong with you? Huh?
So much. Ron Slade joins us coming up next.
Is your concrete in need of repair? Maybe that sidewalk is shifting. I'll be honest with you. I've seen some cracks in my driveway right now, and I know USS is going to have to come over, man. Or your porch steps. You don't want to misstep on a spot that you're used to going inside of your house, and next thing you know, you face plant into some concrete or into the front door. But that's because shifting concrete, it can create dangerous situations around your house, and it's also just a big eyesore, too. And here's the other pro tip. If you go to sell your home, you're probably going to have to get it fixed anyway. And that's why I'm here to tell you, whatever's going on with your concrete, call United Structural Systems. Ask them about their polyurethane foam injections. You've heard about USS for a long time. It's the same company that's provided superior foundation repair and waterproofing to Middle Tennessee since 1994. Well, they can fix your sunken or settling concrete. USS uses polyurethane foam injection to lift and repair your sinking concrete in a matter of minutes. Lifted concrete can be walked on immediately or even driven on after about 30 minutes. So don't go through that long, expensive process of ripping out and replacing concrete. Reach out to the company I trust, man. You can go to USSTN.com. That's USSTN.com, or call them 615-488-7855. United Structural Systems.
Ramon Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee in hour 4. Ramon Foster and Will Bowling, joined by a Hall of Famer, Ron Slay of 3HL, SEC Network, Tennessee Basketball, Pearl Cone, Oak Hill, Nashville's own. I'm trying to do him justice because he's a Hall of Famer this weekend. What's up, Slay? How are you?
Hey, man, Will, if you keep on naming names, man, I'm going to be like one of them European soccer teams or basketball teams, all the patches on my jersey. I
love it. Hey, you earned it, though. I'm not just putting that on you for nothing. You had a lot of blood, sweat, and tears for all those people I mentioned.
Yeah. Man, absolutely, dog. I'm going to tell y'all one thing, man. First of all, I'm in therapy right now, so shout out to the therapist, you know what I mean, the demons that they are. And Savage, one of your demons, your personal demons over here right now. Next to be James Wilson.
I know he is. Ask him how it's going to go with ETSU this year, huh?
Hey, James, Mom said, how's it going to go with ETSU this year? We live on the air, too. With ETSU this year. he flexed and said we're about to make a new home.
That's a demon right there, boy.
That is a demon. I hope the whole team got that mentality. We know his son does.
It's all good until we start talking about the 4 and 5 stars we got versus theirs.
The blue chips. I love it.
Yeah. Hey, man.
I love it.
What's happening, Willie?
Slay, this weekend I know is a big one. Has it set in yet? Have you kind of processed what tomorrow brings and what this weekend is of being inducted into the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame?
Yeah, a little bit, man. On the way back, man, I watched. I was showing Babsy. They had a drop on YouTube that came out, a stream of congratulating all the inductees Mike Keith and Brad Willis put together, and I was showing Babsy, and Yor was driving, so he was listening. On the way back, the clip, and man, Savage did such a terrific job, dog. Like that's what made it sink in. You know what I mean? Listening to him talk about it, and then for them to go get Chancellor Plowman, like I was like, okay, all right, this might be pretty big, you know what I mean? And that was pretty dope right there, listening to that and the way that Savage was so eloquently able to put it, man, and articulate himself, dog. Like that was everything. I'm gonna be honest, man. Like that was I done text Savage like 3 or 4 times, like, hey, dog, man, you delivered, man. Like I expect my boy to always deliver, but man, that was all right because it was unexpected. I didn't know he was doing that, you know what I mean?
You know what's crazy about that?
What up?
We missed the first recording of it.
Really?
Yeah, that was the second take of it. Yes, 100%.
What happened on the first one, dog?
The cameras weren't on. The audio was either like the camera, the audios went on.
It happens to the best of us.
But I think the second one was better though too, man. I'll be honest with you.
Right.
It was cool doing it. I ain't gonna lie to you. If you look at me, I'm trying to like lay back and stay cool in the audio and the visuals of it because I was nervous. Like I can't mess this up. Like of all people talking about Ron Slay, like it was cool because like this is a huge moment you going into the Hall of Fame, and it was like to be able to tell your story. And the thing is, like I jumped on your train at like what, man, 13, 14 years old when we actually got a chance to meet each other. Like for those who don't know, Ron and I do share half of the same DNA.
Right.
So I always share the same father.
We're not just joking when we say you guys are brothers. You literally are. You have the same blood.
Exactly. So to watch you walk through this pathway, man. I guess right now for the people that won't be at the ceremony tomorrow, like what has it meant to get to this point to have some recognition, especially for the folks that's in Middle Tennessee? I say all the time, you're Nashville's son. Heck, at this point, you're Tennessee's son. Because there's a lot of people that put their hand into the pile, man. So for those folks, man, that get an opportunity to hear a little bit of it now, what would you say about this journey?
Man, it's been a hell of a journey, dog. Coming from, I always say, like, you know what I mean, I'm the Tennessee nut, being born in Memphis with ties in West Tennessee, all the way to Covington, then going to East Tennessee. On the way back, what was crazy, we cut through Chattanooga. It was traffic, so we had to get off the interstate and go a back way to cut off some time. And Yor was like, Slade, did you go to school over there? And like jokingly. And I raised the window up, and lo and behold, I did go to Alton Park Elementary School. We was driving bad, dog.
Wow.
I'm like, yeah, like I grew up over there. I went to school in Chattanooga till down near the 4th grade, you know what I mean, 4th, 5th grade. So that was a surreal moment, you know what I mean, and just kind of, you know, taking it all in and understanding like that journey, the East Tennessee, being in Chattanooga, then coming to Middle Tennessee, and man, just traveling from neighborhood to neighborhood, man. My mom working at the Boys and Girls Club, single parent household, and all my brothers and sisters, like we were community babies. You know what I'm saying? Not only was my mom raising us, but she was raising the community as well, and everybody to pitch in, put a hand in the pot, from all the Boys and Girls Clubs to the centers, to coaches that I came up with. It's a list of them, man, that I can't even name all of them. You know what I mean? Some are more relevant than others because I was with them longer, but, man, they all played a part in it, man. The moms that were wives to these coaches accepted me like moms, you know what I mean? So I was staying at the house. Whatever I needed, they took me into their family, and then going from school to school, either by force or by choice, creating new friends on each side of town. You know what I mean? I lived out east, I lived out north, lived out west, and got plenty of partners out south that I grew up with. So this, man, I kind of embody everything about the city. I feel the changing of the city. As it evolves, I continue to evolve, and, man, I'm one of the lucky ones, man. Been blessed to be able to make the right decisions and have people help keep me out of bad decisions at times, you know what I'm saying? So that's been pretty cool. Sports has been a hell of a vehicle, you know what I mean, to keep me on the right track, and then also able to stay healthy as I'm sitting here in therapy now, not without any major injuries, because that can also derail you, you know what I mean? But, man, I've had some great times, some down times here, from being put out of project housing to being in front of everybody, going undrafted at the Boys and Girls Clubs to, you know what I mean, finishing a 14-year pro career, and then capping it, you know, going into the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. I don't think you can find a lower spot or a higher spot, you know what I mean? I just kind of love it to be right there in the middle and then share it with the people, man, that have been on this journey with me, man, and the ones we lost, to remember them, Santonio Bigg, Terry Reynolds, all of those guys that I'm carrying in with me. It's different, man, and I never would imagine being at this point.
That's cool, man.
That's really well said.
It is. Another part of it, man, is I'll say, let me be selfish real quick and just asking about these next two that's going in with you, man. But you went to school with some legends, just like yourself at University of Tennessee, man. The Meeks, man. Tamika Catchings and Shamika Holsclaw. Like, y'all are homies. Like, this ain't just we went to the same school, man. How was it watching them in real time, man, do what they do, and just to circle the wagons at this point in 2025, y'all are going to the Hall of Fame together?
Savage, just a jaw-dropping moment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, these are the people that you watch. You come in, like, Tamika Catchings won a championship our freshman year. Yeah. Like, I mean, how many people do that? And was a real impact to it. Shamika Holsclaw won 3 in a row. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are people that, when you talk about Hall of Fame, yes, the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame, no question about it, but these people are in the Women's Hall of Fame. That's, you know what I'm saying? Like, the WNBA and Women's Sports Hall of Fame, like, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, and some of the best to ever have done it, and some of the most humble to have done it. I think that's the craziest part about all the people that we went to school with that are legends and things, man, how humble everybody is. Like, from Eric Berry to Peyton Manning, you know what I mean, Jamal Lewis, Deion Grant, who's going in. Like, all of these guys are people that you can walk up to and have a conversation with and it'd be cool.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the craziest, man, with knowing. I don't think Tamika's going to be here because she's an ambassador for the WNBA All-Star game that's taking place in Indiana. But to be able to know them, to be able to pick up the phone, call them, have a conversation with them, and for them to embrace you. Like, to think of going in with them, I look at them like, man, look at their career. Like, that's top notch. You know what I mean? So you look at Jordan and be like, man, what else can I do? So it's surreal, man. Like, they are some of the real ones, and I can't never forget anything that they've done for me.
No doubt.
Conversations, to training, to shooting in the gym, anything.
That's dope, Savage. We're on with Ron Slay right now, soon to be enshrined Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. Savage, you did a little work this week, though. What was some of the highlights, man, of Atlanta that you guys got to see, other than the homeless person asking you for $20?
20?
Dog.
A 20 piece?
Dog. A 20, Savage. Like, with no butter up or the conversation or anything. Just dove straight in. Hey,
I haven't had
got
20 on me in a long time, in years.
Dude, look, if Lil Ron walk up to me and ask me for $20, he better have an explanation of what he's trying to go get and what change he's bringing back. So for a person just to stop me, like, come on, dog, I don't even know you. You know what I mean? Come on, man. So that's one thing. But I think, man, straight off the gate, Clark Lee. Clark Lee,
nice.
The confidence and I don't want to say the bravado, but the confidence that he was walking around with. Like, you know, as a coach, when you got a good team or you got somebody special on that team.
Yeah.
And you can tell after interviewing him, then we interviewed Diego Pavia, and you can automatically be like, oh, okay. I can see why he carries himself a little bit like that. Like, yeah, we're going to keep doubting us. It's one of those. Like, doubt us when we come in the room. We can't wait to show you. Yeah. That's I think, Diego, he exudes that, and Clark Lee has picked up on that. He's already a competitor, but you give a competitor some ammo to go fight a war with, they're going to walk a little differently when they're coming in the war. Right. So that's why I feel Clark Lee is. He's excited about his team. Another guy, and I don't know how good they're going to be, Babs alluded to this yesterday, but Jeff Levy, man, he's like, I don't know what they're going to get out of the team because it's hell trying to replace a guy like the Pirate. Mike Leach. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But he's a competitor as well. Like, he's walking around like they're undefeated already. Mm-hmm. And they are, in a sense, but they ain't played no games. You ain't got no win column win. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does. He got to put a group of players together that never played together and try to get them all on one page in a conference that's unforgiving. Lagway, when you see him, you can see what the hype is about just as he's walking around. Like, his structure looks good. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Taylor Green is another one. Like, that's one of the things I walked away with from the SEC is, man, the quarterbacks, some with question marks, some to see if they're going to take that next step. This would be one of the best quarterback classes that we've seen in the SEC in a minute. Mm-hmm. You know, so I think that's going to be interesting. Well, my guy Arch, we didn't get to talk to Arch, but just knowing him and being able to talk to Coach Cutcliffe, like he said he's a Manning. Yeah, there's no other way to put it. Yeah, he's just a Manning. You know what I mean? Knows what to say, says the right thing. It is what it is. Ain't gonna give you too much, but you put him out there and don't be fooled and understand how athletic he is. He said that right there could catch some people. So that's gonna be fun to watch, man.
Fascinating stuff. And Slay, I think it's interesting how so many of the teams with established quarterbacks aren't Georgia and Alabama. Like, it's not the top of the SEC that knows that they're getting. Blake Shapen, Mississippi State quarterback, if he stays healthy, I mean, he was a stud for Baylor. He's just never been healthy over the course of his career. And that schedule, I mean, like, they get better, but so is everyone else in the conference too. It's crazy. Just even the bad teams have dudes. Like, that just feels like the thing I take away, Slay, from listening to what you guys did and just talking to people. And, like, Sam Pittman's got some decent veteran players. He also lost, I think, 38 players to the portal. And, like, there's 60 new players on that team on scholarship that have arrived since December. Like, these coaches have got to have more gray hairs than they ever have before.
Yeah, that's right. You ain't wrong at all about that, Will Lee. And that one guy right there. But I will say, Sam Pittman, man, he's in an okay spot. It's almost in one of those spots where he's like, you know what, man? If we do, we okay. If we don't, I'm gonna be okay. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But let's put the ball down. Give me a healthy Taylor Green, and let me see what happens. Because his thing is, any quarterback that you've watched Bobby Petrino have for more than a year, his numbers always go up. You know, and he always is more efficient. And he was saying, man, you know, he got hurt in that Tennessee game. But after that, he still wasn't healthy, and he still went crazy with 400-plus total yards in the bowl game and getting that one. So it's still going to be interesting to see what they do. It said they bolstered the offensive line. They bolstered all spots, but especially the offensive line to protect him a little bit more. It's going to be interesting to see how he develops also. But, yeah, it's some of these guys, man, like Napier. I can't see a chink in the armor. Right. You know, the only one that I would be in question with is Stoops. Like Stoops, it felt like he had a lot of explaining to do throughout college, throughout the media day. It was like, man, like everywhere he goes, there's nothing like, hey man, how's this guy? It's all questions of how and what you gonna do. You know what I'm saying? And how you gonna get there. So I think he's the only one out of everyone that you didn't see the confidence boost from. Yeah.
That's why they had those LED backpacks, I guess. So you can,
who was that for?
That was so
crazy.
silly.
Slate, real quick, I wanted to get a Vols question in for you here before we wrap up. Miles Kitselman, Arion Carter, and Bryson Easton, all three of them, really, really, really impressive. And it is easy to see why those three were the picks and why none of the quarterbacks were the picks. I thought it was really interesting when Miles Kitselman told you guys, hey, Joey Aguilar knew me for a week and had already gotten an invite to my wedding. The guy has really embedded himself within this program and knows everyone in a really quick fashion. What was your takeaway from that? Did you kind of notice the same thing? Because I thought Miles, especially, just being the one offensive representative, Slay, just as the one guy that's got to talk about the quarterback a little more because he's on that side of the ball, had some really interesting things to say.
Yeah, what I picked up from him was, and Arion Carter also, were this isn't a one-trick pony team. It's a lot of things that go with the passing game and the explosion and the fireworks that come from that, but they want you to look and see what everybody else is doing. Like, look how good this defense is. When this team is good, look how good the running game is. Look how good this offensive line is. Don't forget how deep we are on the front line defensively. And when we're healthy at the linebacker spot, amazing. It's amazing what we can do. Like, they're all out to show and prove that it's not just about spreading you out and fireworks from Hyper's offense. It's more of a complete team. That's what I took. There's more of a complete team with a voice and vocal leadership on both sides. That's what I took when they walked away, too. I told Babs and Yor, like, man, did you hear the way Arion Carter is talking? It's so decisive, and we know where we are. We know where we're going to be, and they rolling with that. And I believe them. You know what I'm saying? After talking to them, like, this is a bunch with something to prove. And there's a lot of guys that I feel that was shadowed last year that didn't get an opportunity to prove it because of the shadow that Nico cast, because of the shadow that James Pierce cast. And I think there's a lot of them chomping at the bits to get out there and show how serious they are.
Hey, real quick, what in the heck is this version of Jamon Mashack and Zakai Ziegler we seeing in Summer League right now?
You know what? I had a conversation last night, Savage, and Marcus Kenzel, one of my good friends, man, he was asking me, dog, what's it going to take for them to get on the team? I said, man, honestly, when you get to this level and they're playing the way that they play, it's nothing but luck and opportunity.
Right.
That's it. I can't say they can't shoot, they can't be efficient, they can't play defense, they're not in shape, they don't know how to compete, they know how to do they check the boxes to all those things. It actually comes down to who's going to give them an opportunity.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that. You see how efficient Zakai is playing. Yeah. You see exactly what Jamon Mashack is doing. You see what Chaz Lanier, like, that's one thing. Everybody can say what they want to about Rick Barnes, but he is going to have you prepared to walk in there and be one of the best competitors that you can get. And on that level, in a format, the way they play in their Summer League, that's the biggest thing. Compete with good energy and be efficient with your time. That's exactly what they're doing.
Zakai had 15 and 4 assists in 11 minutes, and you got Mashack being offensive right now when he's drafted to be a defensive guy and dunking on folks.
Yeah, that's right.
Crazy.
And guess what, Savage? Like, think about the spots that have been niched out for him. Like Tony Allen, when he went to Memphis, was an offensive could get it done in college on offense. Like, wasn't no ifs, ands, or buts. But what he did, he established a role that Jamon Mashack could come right into. Mm-hmm. And anything offensively you do is a bonus. But continue to compete and play like that on defense, we got a spot for you. Same thing for a guy like Zakai. Man, that's Alvarado, I think is his name, man. The pest that plays for the New Orleans Pelicans. He's always under people's skin. That's Zakai. The only difference is these guys got chances. Mm-hmm. That's the only. Listen, man, we watched a guy that y'all know go through a 2016 Summer League and be a third-team All-Summer League NBA guy, and that's me. That's 15 guys, 5 on each team, and you not make it. Why? Because you need that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like, you still got to check the boxes and do what you're supposed to do. But at the end of the day, you need somebody to say, you know what? Let's give them a chance. And if you give them that chance, that's the separator.
I love it. Ron Slay joining us as he does every Friday at 9:20. Slay, again, congratulations on the honor of joining the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame. I know tomorrow will be an awesome day. It is well-deserved and well-earned, and glad it was a good week. Great stuff down in Atlanta this week.
Man, no doubt. Hey, and we going up after. So everybody that can't make it, 10 o'clock, baby, we'll be right there at Chandeliers on Buchanan. Man, come on out. Come out and toast with your boy.
I love it. There's Ron Slay. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Appreciate it.
All right, Ron Slay with us from physical therapy. We'll wrap up the show. Coming up, headlines, and we'll wrap up the week next. Wrapping up the show here on Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee. Robert Walsh back in the building.
Walked in on us, man.
Robert Walsh and Urgent Care are at odds right now. I'm sure he'll tell the story today.
Yeah, I don't know how much he's going to be talking, but hey, man.
Rhett Bryan and Kevin Dyson in for Buck Rising this morning. So that is coming up next. Buck on another day of vacation. Again. One thing I will finish the show with today. I would not be surprised, Ramon, if today was a Friday news dump day for Tennessee athletics.
What you got in mind?
I would not be shocked if Tennessee athletics to Adidas was a Friday news dump today.
On a day like today?
Yeah. Wouldn't be shocked.
Okay.
It's just reading what we have, and it feels like a foregone conclusion that Tennessee and Adidas is going to happen. I'm just looking at all the Fridays for the foreseeable future as the time to announce it.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of fans are going to be unhappy with that deal, with as much as fans and people like Nike.
Yep.
That I would not be shocked if today was a Friday news dump day about Tennessee and Adidas getting to a deal on that. I expect that to happen sooner rather than later.
I'll say this, the way it's kind of jumped up about 2 weeks ago with the conversation like, hey, what's going on? Nike's got a window to return the favor, or at least to counter the offer. And Nike hadn't announced anything. And somebody tweeted out orange cleats from
Faison Brandon. Orange Adidas cleats. Yeah.
Orange Adidas cleats.
It's happening.
Yeah.
It is happening. I'm not 100% sure today is the day it will be announced. I'll simply just say I will not be surprised at all if today was the day.
No doubt.
That it will be announced.
Yep. So I'm not tripping. I mean, that's the thing. What you going to do? What are you going to do? Legitimately.
Buy volunteer tradition stuff is what I'm going to do. Yeah. I'm serious.
I'm sure.
I'm serious. Adidas has come a long way. I'm not as out on Adidas as I used to be. In high school, Adidas was the devil. Was the op.
Yeah.
And now it is what it is. I don't care. I'm a jersey guy. Like, I'm an apparel guy. I think all that stuff is fun and interesting. But I'm not as big into it as I used to be in high school.
As us and A&M was their biggest schools.
In the SEC, yeah. Well, and just in general, I do think I have no knowledge of numbers or anything or contract length of things like that. But I wouldn't be surprised if that gets closer to what the A&M number is. If Tennessee gets close to that.
My only contingency for Adidas is this. Make it look like you paid for it, too.
Well, and the beauty of it is now that Tennessee is in control of the design. So Tennessee Athletics designs their jerseys.
Yeah.
Adidas is not going to design, like the stupid checkerboard shoulder pad, smoky grays back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, unless Tennessee is designing something like that in the future, that is still going to look the same. It's the material and it's the stuff for the fans that's just not as good.
And on top of that, too, I mean, Nike got Kentucky, and I don't like their jerseys, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
The checkerboard
Nike's not
sleeve.
faultless. Like, Nike's had some duds.
They have.
With Miami back in the day, Nike had some awful stuff. Like, Adidas and Miami have cooked. They got some good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm signing up for. So we'll see. We'll talk about it more next week if it does happen today. But
you have a feeling that, like, if it was going to be announced, today would be the day.
I do.
Yeah.
That is the show. Rhett Bryan and Kevin Dyson got you covered. Coming up next,
Dr.
Robert Walsh
Dice.
back at the controls. Ramon Foster next week. The Tennessee Titans will practice American tackle football.
Well,
Training camp week here. The next time we talk to you, that's on Monday morning.
You know how it is, good people, man. Go out and enjoy each other, man. Buy somebody a random drink, have a random conversation with somebody, call somebody you ain't talked to in a while, man. But everybody love everybody, man. But making sure you make it back to us next week. Peace.